various outcroppings of buildings, but the dominant's trees. And it's a beautiful sight to see because it's just open for miles and miles, if you will. It's a nice sight, but you're definitely right. There's not a lot. There's a housing complex to our left, Texas Motor Speedway ahead, and the airport to the right, and that is it.
You know, we're going to check down on the field with Teddy Saffo. He has some information about this stadium. It is brand new. Teddy, talk to us and tell us what you got.
Well, Monty, you're all right. This is a brand new facility located here in Justin, Texas. This facility costs about $19.5 million to build, and it seats about 9,000 people. In fact, Pepsi paid for 40% of this facility to be built. Just to give you a little information on what the stadium has, as I said, it does seat 9,000 people. It has 2 level press boxes, has 3 film decks, 2 merchandise stores, and 4 full-service concession stands. Not to mention, there's a closed-circuit broadcast of the game. So let's say you happen to want to get up and get a Coke or get a hot dog during the game, you're not going to miss any bit of the action. And I just want to give you a brief report on the condition of the field. The field is excellent. It's the new Astro Play surface, as you guys did mention earlier. It did open up earlier this year, and it was windy earlier, but the winds have died down and the sun has come down, and it's about 90 degrees right now on the field. So wind and weather shouldn't be much of a factor right now. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks a lot, Teddy Saffo. Right now they're doing the national anthem, I guess, a little bit earlier than what normally we see. Normally the anthem is done right at kickoff, and we'll let you listen to the rest of this. And that was the national anthem carried out here by the Justin Northwest faithful. They're dedicating this brand new stadium, and I tell you what, it reminds me a lot of the one over in Denton. Had a chance to be over there last year and see a couple ball games there. Just beautiful stadium, isn't it, Brandon?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same design on both sides. Where you walk into the middle of the stadium, you have the option to go up or down right away. And it's kind of the same, it's what they call a cookie-cutter design, where they take the same basic design and institute it. The only thing different in Denton, for those who have been there but haven't been here, the Fieldhouse side is only single-story, where in Denton it houses the entire athletic complex down in the end zone there. But everything else is about the same, and you got to say it's a nice stadium, and for a high school especially, it's a nice stadium. It's something that the community, and you can take pride in, student-wise, alum-wise. Although I can't imagine there's just a whole ton of Justin alums, seeing how it's a relatively new school. But anyway, this is just a source of pride where you can kind of center around the school. And it's, I guess, a nice facility.
All right, let's talk a little bit about this football game. McKinney Lions taking on Justin Northwest out here. And Northwest, even though being a relatively new program, they have some outstanding athletes. And right now they're 2-1. On the season so far, they beat Granbury to open the season 48-21. Came back and beat Red Oak the following week, 37-26. And last week, barely lost a squeaker to Saginaw Boswell. It was a great game with Boswell. It went down to the last 20 seconds. And what the difference was in that football game basically was a block extra point on Northwest. If Northwest would have had their extra point, it actually would have been a tie ball game. Probably would have seen extra time and overtime in that football game, and they might even we might be talking about them being 3-0 right now instead of 2-1. So the kicking game is probably a big factor. We were watching the kicking going on here in the pregame, and Northwest kicker Stephen McMullen is not one of the best kickers we have seen so far this year.
Well, it depends on which kick you watch, which is a maddening thing if you're a coach or a fan, because during pregame warm-ups, he was making them from 40, nice end-over-end kick on the soccer style. He is a left footed kicker, which is a bit odd. But, there were times where it was beautiful form kick and other times it just looked bad, so you don't know what you get. And I'll tell you, you'd rather have a consistently bad kicker because you know what you're going to get than an inconsistently good kicker. And that's part tongue-in-cheek, but, that's really true. Let's say the game's on the line and you got a 35-yard field goal. If one kick is good and one kick is bad and you don't know what you're going to get, that really just hampers what you can do. But if you know you have a bad kicker, you're not going to try that 35-yard field goal for the win, So you don't know what you're going to get with the kicker, and that really came back to hurt him last week. But that was a blocked kick. However, if we haven't seen it, but if it was a low liner, then that was the fault of the kicker. So cost him a game last week. The special teams did. And you can bet that they've worked on it this time around.
All eyes on McKinney's offense as, I had one of my inside guys this week told me that McKinney might just come out and show that power eye that they ran last year so successfully behind Hector Hernandez, the fullback. They have not showed that formation yet so far this season. And matter of fact, I don't even know who would go out there and line up as the fullback, but I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't see some sort of version of the too-tight power eye set. And right now we're going to take a quick timeout. We're going to let you listen to the senior spotlight. Jared Thompson and Darian Royal, don't go away for that. And also, if you want to email us up at the booth, McKinneyBooth@klake.com. Email us and we'll try to respond as quickly as we can. Thanks for everybody who's listening right now and enjoying us in their living rooms. Thank you for letting us be a part of your evening here on K-Lake FM. We'll be back in a moment with more McKinney Lions and Justin Northwest football. Back to Northwest ISD Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms, Chris Holler, Justin Philpy, Michael Connolly, Jared Thompson, Kevin Holler, and Chris Zilmer across the front.
Thank you, Debbie Thomas. And I'd like to
All right, well, Monty, as we said, 18 minutes according to the scoreboard away. I guess they're going to kick off a little late because today's dedication. But the thing we got to understand about this game is it's football. We're not playing baseball. We're not playing softball, so football rules apply here.
Welcome back to Northwest ISD Stadium, brand new Northwest ISD Stadium. It's beautiful. We're looking right at the backside of the Texas Motor Speedway, and Fort Worth Alliance Airport is to our right. And we are looking directly, almost due east, but this field, well, it runs northwest.
Get the rim shot ready for that one.
Northwest ISD Stadium, actually, yes, it does. It runs northwest and southeast. And some of the, we thought the Northwest Texans were running through the run-through, but apparently it's just a bunch of kids.
Well, it's like the Texas Rangers let the kids run the bases after a game here in Justin Northwest. On dedication of the stadium day, they let the kids run through the tunnel. Boy, they're not stopping either. They're running the length of the field.
Yeah, I was wondering if they're just going to keep running, jumping over that wall, and keep on running right out of the parking lot. Brandon, let's talk about this football game. I know we've mentioned a little bit about what McKinney needs to do offensively, and you and I think that they're going to have to somehow run the football with maybe a power eye look that they ran last year. That's one thing that I mentioned last week, that at some point they're going to have to start running the football effectively.
Well, that's the thing that the spread offense is designed to do, at least on the high school level. The higher levels you get, the more it's a passing offense. But what it does is it spreads out the defense and creates fewer people in what they call the box, the defensive linemen and the linebackers. If you get 4 receivers out, you have to get a linebacker playing more outside the ends, which then theoretically clears up running lanes to go through in between. And for whatever reason, that just hasn't been happening. And the other thing the spread offense doesn't do, you do not have a fullback to lead blocks. So if you don't get efficient play at the line, if somebody, just takes one person, if somebody gets through, then it's all for naught. Now, if you get the fullback and that someone gets through, the fullback takes them on, then you allow your running back to go through the lane. So I think what this team needs to do, I think a power eye would be good, but I think if they just mix it up, a combination of the spread offense and the combination of the power eye would be effective. And the other thing that doesn't help with the spread offense, if you can't pass at all, then there's no reason to keep guys outside the box. And I think we saw that with Ben Martinek. As much as he tried, he just wasn't able to pass effectively. There was a lot of pressure from the line. It doesn't necessarily have to be the quarterback's fault, but if your offense can't pass, the spread offense is useless in terms of the running game.
Well, and I think that's what has happened. I was talking with Denison head coach Bob Brown earlier in the week, and he was saying that they're running the new spread offense down there, and they were talking about how, if you can't throw the football in that offense, you might as well just pack it up.
Well, we saw them. They had a quarterback who could throw the deep ball, and so that forces you to respect the passing game, even if just a little bit. And then to top it all off, their quarterback can run, too. It's just a dangerous combo.
Numbers on the season for Ben Martinek, the quarterback, 10 out of 25. He's thrown 2 interceptions for 154 yards passing and 1 touchdown. That's completing 40% of your passes, and that's not going to get it done for the McKinney Lions. So Zane Alcorn gets the start tonight. He is 9 out of 15, just under 50%. 2 interceptions he's thrown himself, and 41 yards passing.
I think the math a little off there.
Yeah, I think I was a little off. I was sitting here thinking, well, wait a minute.
9 to 15, that'd probably be between 55 to 60.
Yeah, that actually will work a little bit better. Justin Northwest Texans come out of their tunnel, and let's talk about them a little bit. They have the red uniforms with the old, kind of like the New York Jet stripes across the sleeves. The red and white. There's no silver. There's no other color. Just red and white. They got the big Nebraska N on their white helmet.
The unis think Nebraska with those white stripes on the sleeves, and you'll have this uniform down. And of course, the stripe along the pants. I believe Nebraska is just solid white.
Yeah, they look a lot like Nebraska with the red jerseys and the white pants and the white helmet with one thin red stripe in the middle of that helmet. McKinney about to bust out of their big helmet tunnel over there. They're all jumping up and down in that tunnel.
Well, one thing we talk about when we look at Justin Northwest, they're kind of a one-trick pony in a way. Not to diminish what they do, but their quarterback is a guy who can pass, but he's 25 of 37, so 3 games he's completed less than 10 per game, which on the high school level is pretty good. But the guy you need to watch out for is Drew Ashley, 614 yards rushing. In 3 games, that's an average over 200 yards per game, and that's easy math to do. And the guy, 8.53 yards per carry. That's getting it done. He's also scored 10 touchdowns on the year. So there's no question the guy you need to stop is the running back, Drew Ashley.
And the most impressive thing about Drew Ashley is the fact that he is a sophomore. He is 6 foot, 185 pounds, and a sophomore. Let's check down with Teddy Sappho with the coin toss.
Follow me around, gentlemen. Follow me around. Shake these gentlemen's hands down. Ready down. And we'll confirm what he called with you. In the air, Captain. Tails. He is called what? Tails. It's heads. You've won the toss. Kick, receive, defend a goal, or choose a half. Receive. You want to receive. All right, you got to kick and defend which goal.
We're going to kick with the wind. So
point me which way the wind is. The scoreboard or opposite scoreboard?
Going this way.
You want to kick
this
to
way.
the scoreboard. Okay. You're going to be receiving. Turn around this way.
All right, as you can tell there, that Justin Northwest won the toss. They will receive.
Boy, and how about that official? He was getting it straight. There wasn't going to be any confusion.
No
on this
question,
one.
no question about who was in charge down there. As you could hear, J.D. Dowling made the announcement that they were going to kick towards
Kick
that
into the wind, and then the referee said, "Hey, point which way."
Which way is that?
Well, that's solid.
Towards the scoreboard, which is towards northwest. Or actually, that is actually southeast. McKinney will be going left to right, and Northwest, of course, right to left, as they will send back deep for this Beef O'Brady's kickoff. Nelson Windebank going back along with Adrian Brown. Now, one of their big returners, Abel Ramirez, will stand at the 5, along with probably maybe their best player on the football field, Blake Collier. 6'2", 215-pound senior. Collier seems to do it on both sides of the ball from everything we understand.
One thing to be careful now, with Northwest winning the toss, the stiff wind, McKinney will have the choice to win, and this might be a time where you elect to defend the right end zone come the fourth quarter, so that way they have to throw and run into the wind.
Here we go for the Beef O'Brady's kickoff, the first kickoff of the night, the second game ever here at Northwest ISD Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms, thank you for joining us. Patrick Kleinenberg has everybody huddled up on the 35-yard line. Again, McKinney going to move left to right, and the Texans of Northwest will move right to left. Not a lot of wind looks like on the field, but the flags are really blowing pretty hard up above the field. This is kind of a sunk-in stadium as Kleinenberg boots it, and he is going to kick it deep. It's going to land at the goal line. It's going to be taken there by Collier. Comes up to the 11, trying to find the far sideline, and is wrestled down at the 16-yard line, 1st and 10, and they may mark it at the 17. The Texans will have the ball first, moving right to left on first down.
Solid kick coverage there by McKinney, doing exactly what you're taught to do. They stayed in their lanes, and more specifically on the backside, they stayed in their lane, which didn't allow a cutback by the returner, and they tackle him inside the red zone. Just a good start from the special teams, and hopefully if you're a Lion fan, they'll be able to continue that on defense.
Up front for the Texans as they break out of the huddle quickly. We'll try to give you starting lineup for them in a moment. Here is a man in motion, and he's going to hand off actually up the middle. Not much doing there. It's a handoff to Ashley, and Ashley is going to gain about a yard out to about the 18-yard line, so 2nd down and 9. Up front for the Northwest Texans, Cameron Vester at left tackle, Justin Smith, Bradley Davidson, Zach Bramer, and John Mitchum on the offensive line. Zach Palmer and Bryant Maxwell, the split-out ends. The tight end is Cody Yenter, and Will McGangus, the coach's son, is at quarterback. Drew Ashley, the tailback. Blake Collier, the sharp. And the split end, actually. This will be a man in motion. A lot of things going on, and Collier gets the end-around reverse. He's got the first down, 35, 40, 45. Cuts it inside the midfield stripe, 40. He's gone, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Justin Northwest. And they open their brand-new stadium just like that. An 82-yard touchdown run on an end-around reverse by Blake Collier.
Well, going to be about an 81 officially as the ball was inside the 20, so they give him that extra yard. 81 yards, but more impressively to me was the blocking downfield by the Texan offense, specifically Bryant Maxwell, number 1, a split end, although we got a flag, so negate the run. Just depends if it's going to be a downfield. It's going to be from the 10 yards from the spot of the foul, which what it looks like it's going to be.
Well, as a spot foul, must be a hold downfield, and they're gathering at about the 33-yard line in McKinney territory, and that is a big hold. And you got to – I think everybody on the far sideline is taking one big collective breath.
Well, it wasn't that great of a fake from the quarterback to Drew Ashley, but for whatever reason, McKinney had just over-pursued, and there was nobody. And then in comes the receiver, Bryant Maxwell, and cuts the only guy for McKinney who was back there, Cates Keith, and then it's just a solid hold, but negated from the penalty.
Ball will be placed at the 44 in McKinney territory. This is going to be a shotgun formation. McGangus rolls out left, wants to throw, tries to find his man. It's picked off by Ryan Packard at the 34-yard line. Just like that, McKinney steps right back up. Ryan Packard brings it in. He was looking for his receiver out there, Zach Palmer, but Ryan Packard had him covered up and swallowed that interception.
Remember that penalty yards specifically, but that killed a drive and took points off the scoreboard, and then they turn it over the next play. That is a momentum killer for Northwest, and that just puts wind in the sails for McKinney. Huge play, huge penalty. Just consecutive 80-yard touchdown taken off. Then it comes a penalty. Then comes the interception.
Will
wow.
McKangus throws his 4th interception of this early season. He's 25 out of 37 with a touchdown, and 4 interceptions is not good early on in this season. Here is a power eye look. This is going to be Wimbish turning left side. He could be gone. 40, 35, 30, 25, 20. I formation scores on the first play. It is touchdown time in Texas.
67 yards from the start to finish. So we had an 81-yard run back negated by Northwest on a penalty, interception, 67-yard touchdown run. Oh my gosh. Whoa, just an electric start to this one.
Flag on the play at the end of that touchdown run. Going to be some kind of celebration against McKinney as Chris Wimbish, when he crossed the end zone, actually did a little dance, and I think the referee saw a little bit too much of that. Mike Reeves, the referee, threw the flag right at the goal line, and we'll check and see what this is.
Sometimes what happens in this situation, you just get overly excited, and I'll take you back to Fort Worth Western Hills. That's exactly what it is. We got a dead ball foul. It's an unsportsmanlike conduct on McKinney. Remember, Wimbish was the one who had an unsportsmanlike conduct against Fort Worth Western Hills where he dunked it over the goalpost, and of course you can't do that and not expect a penalty.
You know, you think you learn your lesson from things like that.
But you know what? I don't know if that was just an overly excited celebration. I mean, that's a long touchdown run.
And the extra point is good. So we have a 7-0 score with 10:36 left to go in the first quarter. McKinney on top. Those of you that may have changed the channel for a second, probably thinking what's going on. But 7-0 McKinney on top back in a moment on 97.5 K-Lake FM. You know, I like that remedy right there. I saw the Black Crows last night. I had a chance to go down to the Nokia Center. And there was a lot of excitement there last night. There's a lot of excitement here so far. We've seen 4 plays from scrimmage, Brandon.
2 touchdowns, 2 penalties, an interception. Well, just a lot of good. The fact that all of a sudden now that Drew Ashley carried for only 2 yards looks pedestrian. You know, compared to the shortest play being a 67-yard run and an interception. But I asked you during the break, is this the 4th of July? Because we've seen fireworks in less than 2 minutes off the game clock.
You've seen 1 I formation play and 1 touchdown from McKinney. Here is a kickoff. The Beef O'Brady's kickoff is going to be taken at the 22. That is going to be, I believe, on the return was Alan Craig. Actually, that's Abel Ramirez who returns it across the 40-yard line to the 41, just shy of midfield. And again, moving right to left is the Northwest offense. Let's go ahead and give you the McKinney Lions starting defense right now. 2nd down and 5 as Ashley got the handoff, ran right up the middle. J.D. Dowling makes the stop. It was the first play that hasn't been, or the second play, I guess, that hasn't just been crazy wheels off so far. 3 men to the left, 1 to the right, shotgun as a man goes in motion, handoff. Ashley up the middle, big hole, crosses the 45 into McKinney territory, down at the 43-yard line, 1st down.
9-yard carry there by Ashley, and all of a sudden he's starting to creep it up there. 2 consecutive plays that have netted 16 yards. That's something you're going to have to watch out for now. If you're McKinney North, you got the big play, but you got to still play solid defense. And Drew Ashley's not going to be one who's going to turn his back and say, oh, well, we're down 7. He's going to be the one to try to tie it up.
This will be 1st down and 10 as McAngus, the quarterback, sends a man in motion, and he's going to hand off once again. Ashley, no, he's going to keep it on the option and turns around the right side, and it's going to gain a couple of yards. He actually was trying to option that run down the right side of the line, and instead of pitching it, he just turned the corner, had nowhere to go, but does somehow gain 2 yards. 2nd down and 8.
Well, he's the 2nd leading rusher on the team at 144, averaging just over 4.5 per carry, so he's a guy you got to watch out for. But it looks like McKinney is concentrating a lot on Ashley because there were 2 guys making the tackle of Ashley when he didn't even have the ball.
Well, you got to watch your wideout over there, Bryant Maxwell. He's the one who gets all the catches, but this time it's going to be Ashley running up. Actually, the quarterback, McAngus, keeps it up the middle. It's going to be close to a 1st down, but about 1.5 yards short. Talking about Will McAngus, his father, the head coach, this is his 4th year. His record here at Northwest is 12-21. His overall record as a head coach, 49-48, so he's a game over. He came from Gonzales High School.
He's got Northwest moving in the right direction. This looks like they've got a good, solid young core here.
3rd down and 2 inside McKinney territory at the 35-yard line. This is going to be a handoff. Ashley banging his way towards the first down marker, and I don't think he got it.
No, and that's something they needed to do. This is a guy who, averages 8.5 per carry, needed only 2, and they only gave him once. It's a good start. Now here comes the option right now. If you're Northwest, you got 4th and 1 with a good running back and not a good punting situation because you're deep in your own territory, but definitely far from a field goal situation.
It'll be 4th down and 1 at the 34-yard line of McKinney, and they are going to go for it here. 1 receiver out wide right. 2 receivers to the near side. McGangus, the quarterback, shotgun formation, gets it, hands it off. Ashley up the middle, big hole, and then his second surge is going to get the first down as he goes down to about the 31-yard line. A big gain there. Thought initially that McKinney was going to stop him.
Well, they had him initially if they came in on a blitz, but for whatever reason they were keying on McGangus, the quarterback, and that let Ashley, he basically had a hole that allowed him to get to 1 yard before being even touched and was able to scamper for 2 more.
1st down and 10 at the 31-yard line in McKinney territory. Right to left is Justin Northwest. Rolling down the line for the option play, and J.D. Dowling barrels Will McGangus. That will be probably a gain of nil out to about the 30-yard line, so maybe give him a foot. 2nd down and 9.
And that was a good job by Dowling. And McKinney probably dodged the bullet there, Monty, as Ashley, the pitch man, had nobody on him. But because of the angle Dowling took, it would have been a dangerous situation for McAngus to pitch it out and risk a turnover.
6:41 left to go in the first. McKinney on top, 7-0. This is going to be a throw out to the flats, and he has his man Palmer, who's going to be near the first down marker, had lots of running room in the flats, and then kind of cut it inside, cut it back outside, gained some yardage after he was initially touched. And it was Brandon Ogletree makes his stop, and that's going to be 3rd and very short over on the far sideline.
Yeah, Zach Palmer came out in motion from the left side. The cornerback was backing up to the receiver, Bryant Maxwell, on the right side, and that left him wide open, but he closed quickly. So good job in coverage there, but gave up a lot of yards to do it.
3rd down and 1. McGangus sends a man in motion. That's Palmer moving from left to right. He's going to hand off Ashley up the middle, surging for the first down marker, breaking a couple of tackles, and Casey Cooley finally has to jump on the back and drag Ashley down inside the 20-yard line at the 19.
Well, they needed 1 and got 3. This is what Ashley's good at. And again, the key to the offense here, the key to the defense is stopping Northwest offense is stopping Ashley. And so far, they've been unable to do it. 7 carries, 25 yards, all in the first quarter.
2 receivers either side. Ashley in the backfield with quarterback McGangus. He's just to the right of him, and this time he's going to hand off to the right side. Justin Philpy meets him, and Ashley is going to be able to gain a couple of yards out to the 16-yard line.
Well, he's just so quick coming off the initial handoff. It almost seems as a step and a half to 2, and he's already at full speed. So as soon as he was met by the defense, because his momentum had him carrying forward, he's a north-south runner. And even on the way down, he was able to gain a yard.
Right now, he's a northwest runner moving in that direction. 1 receiver to the right, 3 out to the left. Ashley stands to the left of McGangus, who's in shotgun formation. Look out for Bryant Maxwell. Nope, he's going to hand off. No, this time McGangus is going to keep it and be caught behind the line. Casey Cooley makes the sack at about the 20-yard line. A big loss there. And there's an interesting note about Casey Cooley. If you asked who the fastest man on the team was, the last person you would think would be Casey Cooley probably.
Well, you wouldn't pick a defensive end number 1, but it's a good situation to have a speed guy.
You would probably think Chris Wimbish, Darian Royal, somebody like that. Casey Cooley is the speedster on McKinney.
Plus, he's tall and big, so it's a good defensive combination for the end there.
Ashley stands to the left of McGangus. He wants to pass, drops back 3 steps, throws over the middle, has Ashley big running room to the 10, 5, knocked down. I don't believe he got in. They're going to mark him at the 1-yard line. It was just a screen pass up the middle.
Yeah, and beautifully set up by the line there. And what the screen pass is basically a timing, as they were able to complete 18, or rather get a completion for 18 yards, but they set it up. The quarterback basically counts to 2.5, and by that time he looks into the direction of the screen because he's looking downfield to fool the defense. The line gets out, and they're set up to block by that time. It was just a good, well-timed play.
Only Ashley's second catch of the year, as it comes pretty important for the Northwest Texans right there. First down and goal at the 1-yard line, man in motion, shotgun formation. Ashley to the right of McGangus. He gets the handoff, running left guard. He's met right at the goal line. No indication that he made it over, and a host of McKinney Lions were right there, including the middle linebacker, J.D. Dowling. It'll be second down and goal.
Well, that's going to be a tough place to do a goal line stand when they had first and goal at the 1, but that's a good start, stuffing Ashley for no gain down at the goal line. And I tell you, the Philadelphia Eagles back in the early 90s had a 7-down situation where the Arizona Cardinals needed to get 1 yard and couldn't do it. Good chance for the McKinney Lions to try to do the same here, although it's going to be a tough task against Ashley.
And these are not the Arizona Cardinals.
Good point.
Two receivers, or actually it's a double tight set. Man goes in motion from left to right. McGangus, the quarterback, rolls out to the left, options it out, fumbles, and now picks it up at the 7-yard line. And, well, it's going to be a lot easier to hold them now, or it would be a lot easier with them at the 7-yard line, as that's where it goes back. And McGangus has to fall on it. It was actually a good snap. He just rolled to the left. He was going to pitch it out, lost the handle, and the ball fell out on the turf.
Well, you got to wonder what's going on there, because it would have been a clear pitch. I mean, there wasn't anybody like the last time they tried to run the option where Dowling closed quickly and took a great angle. I mean, he had a clean pitch to Ashley, and Ashley probably would have been able to get to the corner and score.
Third down and goal from the 7. McGangus wants to throws the fade route out in the end zone, and Maxwell can't bring it down. It was great coverage by Darian Royal.
Close to being a situation where he could call pass interference. The saving grace for Royal, looking back at the ball, played the ball well, and now there's that goal line stand that they really needed. But a lot of it was thanks to just a bad decision by McGangus there to pitch the ball, and then couldn't pitch it very well at all. So good job by the McKinney defense to capitalize on that.
They were going for their big target over there, their wide receiver Maxwell. It couldn't haul it in. Here's the Stephen McMullen kick. It is very high, and I believe it's true, and it is. So the Northwest Texans are on the board with 2:19 left to go in the first. 7-3, McKinney leads. Back in a moment on K-Lake FM. Welcome back to Northwest ISD Stadium. Monty Walker and Brandon Helms as we bring you the Beef O'Brady's kickoff in just a moment. 7-3, McKinney leads this football game with 2:19 left to go in the first. It was Stephen McMullen who just booted through a 25-yard field goal for their first score. This has been an electric first couple of minutes, and here's a high pooch kick on the Beef O'Brady's kickoff. It's going to be taken at the 27-yard line by Dominic Sweeney, moving up towards the middle of the field, slips, and goes down at the 39-yard line. That's where McKinney will take over.
That's what I've been saying about the pooch kick. It limits the return. Sweeney fielded that at about the 32-yard line, and even though it looked good, it was only a return of 8, for which a standard kickoff, 8's pretty bad, but the way the pooch kick does is it minimizes the return, allows the return team to get underneath, or rather get down the field while the returner gets underneath the ball, and by the time he takes it, there's Red, the Northwest Red, 5 yards away from him. But Sweeney was able to find some holes and get a good 8-yard return on the pooch kick.
We're going to give you the McKinney Lions starting offense after this play on 1st and 10 from their own 40. 2:10 left to go in the first quarter. This is going to be a toss left side. And I believe that is Wimbish. I was thinking for a moment it was Wimbish, but after looking, I think, it is Wimbish as he gains 5 yards after the 45-yard line. Here's your McKinney Lions starting offense. Well, it is Zane Alcorn, the quarterback, actually, and Chris Wimbish gets the handoff. He's going to gain 2 yards. And McKinney fans, you're lining up in the I formation, and that's what was so successful last year. And my inside guy there in McKinney was right.
Well, that's also something you might want to do for district play, because all Northwest has to look at is the spread offense. And we've seen 3 plays, all of them rushes by Chris Wimbish, and they've all been out of the power I, so everything they had prepared for this district opener pretty much has gone for naught in the first 3 plays.
Third down, 2 receivers to the left. Brett Anderson is the fullback. A lot of people were wondering who might be there. Yeah, it's Brett Anderson. Toss right side. Wimbush trying to cut the corner. Gets inside and has the 50-yard line and the first down. That's the power I at its best.
See, that's what I was telling you earlier at the end of the pregame show. The spread offense is dictated entirely upon getting your blocks at the line of scrimmage. However, in this case, one of the Northwest defenders was able to break free, but the fullback came in and sealed the alley and allowed Wimbush to get the extra yardage needed for the first down.
First down and 10 inside Northwest territory at the 49-yard line. 35 seconds left to go in the first quarter. McKinney on top 7-3. Two receivers out left side. Chris Zilmer split out far left. Power I formation. This is going to be a fake toss and handoff to Brett Anderson up the middle, fighting for an extra step. He was trying to get through traffic, and Brett Anderson kept fighting, but he only gained a yard.
Well, give him credit for that, because had he not done that, he'd have lost a yard. So it's a 2-yard swing there, but more importantly, it avoids the negative play, even though it's only a short positive.
And we have just come to the conclusion of the first quarter. McKinney wins this one 7-3 on top of the Justin Northwest Texans. We'll be back in a moment with more McKinney ISD football. Welcome back, Northwest ISD Stadium. Monty Walker, Brandon Helms, Zane Alcorn rolls out the left side, completes a pass out to Dominic Sweeney, actually. It's going to be close to a first down as he's pushed out of bounds at the 37-yard line, and that should be enough for a first.
Well, we're seeing something Martinek had a hard time doing, and that's show mobility within the pocket. Although that was a designed rollout, I'm not sure that's something you do with Martinek because he's not very mobile. He does have a good arm, but the line for McKinney every now and then would allow somebody to get through on the pass, and he would just get hammered. But maybe that's one of the reasons they switched to Alcorn, and now we got an illegal man downfield. There's a problem with the rollout, so negate the pass.
Well, they'll move them back. Let's check down with Teddy Saffo down on the sidelines. Teddy's got to be seeing something. He's got to be happy. The McKinney actual players got to be happy with what's going on down there, right?
Because right now, as you said, Monty, earlier, they did change their offense a little bit. As you notice, in the first 3 games, they've been doing the spread offense, and they have not been really successful as I thought it would be. But now they've been able to move the ball down the field, and let's see if they can do a little bit more on this drive. Back to you guys.
Thanks a lot, Teddy. As we have second down and 14 with 11:54 left to go here in the second quarter. This will be a handoff up the middle. Chris Wimbush, not a lot doing as he crosses the 50. He will gain about 3 or 4. But close to the original line of scrimmage as, well, give him 5, Brandon says. 11:41 and rolling here in the second quarter.
Yeah, he got to accommodate for that penalty earlier on the unsportsmanlike conduct, so he was able to get back a hair beyond the original first down marker. So now they'll have a 3rd and 9 coming up here. Not exactly a downing that's indicative of a run coming up. So we'll see what they have here. They did try one pass, but that it was completed, but there was an illegal man downfield.
One thing to note, Corbin Lewis is back from his injured foot. He's into the game as a slot receiver. This is going to be a fake and a handoff to him running far side. He has 2 men to fight through, can't do it, as Justin Northwest was not fooled at all on that play as they were sitting there waiting for Corbin Lewis coming to the far side, and it will be punt time for Zane Alcorn.
Well, you could hear on the crowd mic that the defense for the Texans were basically calling reverse from the beginning, and that's the key to stopping it. Is if in this situation it was going left to right across the offensive formation, so the right defensive cornerback has got to be the one yelling reverse, reverse, reverse if he sees it, and he did right away, and that allowed the other side of the defense to get down there and cover it pretty quickly.
Alcorn will stand at his own 42-yard line. Of course, McKinney now moving right to left, and he's going to pooch it. Try to find the coffin corner down there. Lets it roll.
Good roll.
And it goes inside the 10, inside the 5, and will be down at the 4-yard line. Great punt for McKinney as Northwest will be back way back in their own territory at their own 4-yard line.
I know it's still relatively early here in the first half. We still have 10 minutes left to play here in the second quarter, but this McKinney team looks a lot sharper. And I was talking with the coaches before the game, and they said this is probably one of their better bye weeks they've had since most of them have been at the school, and it's showing tonight. They're playing a very crisp, clean football game for the majority of the plays that they've been on the field.
Well, they also, the players held their own players-only meeting, and got some things ironed out. First down and 10 for Northwest. Shotgun formation from their own 4. Handoff Ashley. He is met at the line of scrimmage and driven back. He got nothing.
Looks like they're going to credit him with a half a yard, but let me tell you, if you can stop Ashley for half a yard every time, you absolutely are going to take that, especially within the shadow of their own end zone. And now the defense has really put the Northwest offense in a bind. What do they do here on a 2nd and 9 situation? If you run it again and you get the same setup, then you're going to have the option of basically a give-up play on 3rd down and long. And then if you run it, you face – or pass it, you face the risk of a turnover.
Ashley came into tonight's contest with 614 yards rushing. Here is 2nd down and 9. This is going to be McGangus, who tries to roll around the left side. He's in trouble, and he goes nowhere. Adam Fairborn is there along with the linebacker crew. Adonis Graham, J.D. Dowling, and I believe Ogletree was there as well.
Yeah, not a lot of solid blocking on the Northwest offensive line. They held up basically just the defensive line, but if you're McKinney coaches, you're going to take the 4 winning the battle versus 5 and allow your linebackers to make a play like they just did. And now they're on a 3rd and 9 situation, and this is a question of what do you do here if you're Northwest, because you're in the shadow of your own end zone. You're very limited.
McKinney on top, 7-3, 8:49 left to go in the second. 3rd and 9, flags down, and this will probably be against Northwest. On a 3rd down and 9, they can't back up too far.
Well, it's a delay of game, and they're at the 4.5-yard line, so this is basically just going to be a 2-yard penalty. But let me tell you, that's a big 2 yards right now.
The ball will rest on the 2-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and about 11 for the first down. 7-3 again. McKinney on top. 8:35 left to go in second quarter. Shotgun formation for McGangus. Is going to hand off Ashley up the middle, running left guard. Breaks away initially. Eddie Morgan and Brandon Ogletree drag him down at about the 8-yard line. So 4th down and punting time for Justin Northwest, and Preston Merritt will come out to punt. And McKinney, looking good so far, is going to gain a great field position here, or should.
Yeah, and that's a situation where you try the draw play where the defense is thinking pass. But let me tell you, that become almost so common anymore. You expect the draw play before you expect the pass when you're in a situation like Northwest is with their back against the wall, standing in their own territory.
Darian Royal will stand in Northwest territory right at the 41-yard line, and Merritt will boot this end-over-end kick away, and Darian Royal will catch it, field it, take it up, move a couple of steps out to the 30 and down at the 29-yard line. So McKinney will take over in great shape already at the 29-yard line.
Well, I was shaking my fist in excitement there, and the reason was because that was a low-line kick, Monty, and in that situation, Northwest had to sit back and block so they make sure they didn't get a block kick that could result in a safety or worse, a touchdown for them. So they were hold back, and that allowed the returner to get an extra 10 yards on the return there. And when you're talking, he fields that at the 40 and gets to the 30, you'll take that in a heartbeat. So McKinney looking great here with 7:37 left to go in the second.
First down and 10, moving right to left is McKinney. Michael Peters split out wide right. Chris Zilmer's split out wide left. Brent Anderson, the fullback, is an offset eye. Chris Wimbish dots it. And Zane Alcorn, the quarterback, handoff. Wimbish up the middle, cuts it to the left a little bit and goes down inside the 30 at about the 31-yard line. So actually that's a 26. I got my lines confused. So about a 3-yard gain out to the 26-yard line.
6 carries, 85 yards for Wimbish so far. Of course, the 67 of them coming on that long touchdown run, but they've really only run the ball they only had directed a play to 2 other people, and those have both been runs, so they've been very run-focused here to open.
Michael Peters and Zilmer split out wide. This is going to be a fake the handout. Wimbish comes inside and trips at the line of scrimmage, and he'll go down right there. It'll be 3rd down and about 7. As actually they faked the toss out to Wimbish, and then he stopped dead in his tracks, came across kind of like an old crossbuck, and handed off to him on the inside, running over left guard, and he just basically tripped up over someone and couldn't find that seam. 3rd down and 7, 6:30 and rolling here in the second quarter. McKinney on top 7-3.
Kind of a play action draw there where they fake the run first to try to get the defense back in passing mode, and then they do the draw play. Not something you see a whole lot, and I'm surprised it wasn't as effective as that was.
There is a timeout on the field. We'll take one too. Back in a moment. McKinney leads 7-3 on K-Lake FM. Welcome back to Northwest ISD Stadium, the beautiful Northwest ISD Stadium. Brand new. This is the second game ever played here, and not good news for the Northwest Texans. They're losing right now 7-3 to McKinney. McKinney really looking sharp. It is 3rd down and 7, however, for the McKinney offense. Power eye look to the left. Alcorn wants to pass now, runs that inside trap, takes off at the 20, and he's going to be very, very close to that first down. He ran that draw, the quarterback draw up the middle. We're going to check down with Teddy Saffo and see if that's going to be a first down or not. It's going to be very, very close.
Well,
Teddy?
actually, referees are actually going to mark it as, looks like, yeah, they're marking it as a first down. And they're debating right now if they're going to decide they're going to measure the ball or not, and the referees are still looking at it right now.
I think they're going to bring the chains
but looks
out.
like they're going to bring the chains out. Yes, they are.
Well, anytime they look at it that closely, you know for certain that they're going to call the change, because they're not going to debate for 5-10 seconds and say, well, you know, we're not going to do a measurement here.
Teddy, you going to give us your opinion on this? Can you go ahead and step out on a limb?
I'll go ahead and step out on a limb. I'm going to go ahead and since we're from the McKinney side, I'm going to go ahead and hope and say it's going to be a first down.
They are stretching the chains right now, and it is a first down.
All right,
for
Teddy,
McKinney.
you got one.
Teddy actually is 1 for 1 tonight on the 3rd down calls. So great job there, kind of willing his way for that McKinney first down, and it is so. 5:57 left to go in the second quarter. McKinney on top as well, 7-3 here early going.
Teddy slipped a 5 into the ref's pocket there so he could be right. No, Teddy wouldn't do that.
2 receivers near side, 1 far to the right. 1 man in the backfield this time. That's Wimbish as Alcorn goes under center, hands it off right side, right tackle, and closing quickly as the Northwest defense shuts it down at the 20-yard line, 21 rather. And nothing doing there. Might have even lost a yard. 2nd down and 11.
Yeah, just a simple off tackle there. But the problem that McKinney had on that play was that they basically, right as the snap ensued, basically showed where the play was headed, and that was because Alcorn immediately turned to his right, extended the ball. Wimbish went to his right, and that's easy pickings for the defense on a read.
2nd down and 11. The marker on the far side still shows first down. However, it is 2nd down.
And we'll take an extra down.
Power eye. And this is Anderson, the fullback. Wimbish gets the toss, running right side. He wants to throw the football down the field. Has a man, and it is caught. Touchdown. It is touchdown time in Texas. Chris Wimbish not only runs it, he throws it. Michael Peters catches it in the end zone. And can you believe that? The trick book comes out in the second quarter. McKinney takes the lead 13-3.
So let me tell you, going into the game with the new quarterback, first completion and the first touchdown is going to go to Chris Wimbish. We'll take it. And get credit there, though, to Peters, because that was kind of an underthrown ball. And he basically had to go underneath and then in front of the defender to pull that one down. Of course, he had the big size advantage there because he's a big kid.
He looked like a basketball player blocking out down in that end zone. Here is Kleineback to kick the PAT, and he kicks it on the roof of Northwest ISD Fieldhouse, and we have a new score. It is 14-3, McKinney on top, 4:53 left to go in the second quarter. Back in a moment on K-Lake FM. Well, it is Sweet Home Northwest out here by the Texas Motor Speedway. It's ironic that we hear a little Sweet Home Alabama when we're very close to a NASCAR stadium. It will be the Beef O'Brady's kickoff as McKinney moving right to left.
Not sure where you're going with that, sir.
Well, those NASCAR people like the Leonard Skinner music. This is a very short squibber and an onside attempt by McKinney, and it's going to be recovered by Northwest. Kleineberg just kind of pooched it down the middle of the field, and one of the Northwest Texans jumped on it, and I believe that was Jake Swinia.
He was, and he was the only one who saw that. And if that ball is just, I don't know, maybe 5 yards, 3 yards less on the velocity, I bet McKinney has that because the up linemen were not aware of that at all.
The ball will be at the 37-yard line in their own territory. And when I say they, I mean the Northwest Texans. Shotgun formation for McGangus, sends 2 receivers either side. Ashley in the backfield standing to his left. Here's the snap, and it is going to be a handoff up the middle, and Brett Anderson playing the nose guard busted him right up the middle. Ashley was absolutely leveled at the line of scrimmage, and that'll go for no gain.
Well, you think this McKinney team is stoked for this game? Stewing on an 0-3 start with a bye week, looking ahead to district play against Northwest. They look like they have pretty much ironed out some of their non-district problems. And I'm telling you, Brett Anderson right now has been a big spark, both the fullback now and the nose tackle position.
I talked to Anderson last week in the senior spotlight, or 2 weeks ago rather, and he told us how he grew up playing nose guard, and he showed that he could play it right there. McGangus fakes the throw downfield, now throws the home run ball down the field for Palmer, and it's caught at the 32-yard line. Palmer went up, brought it down. That is only his second catch of the year. He had one for 38 earlier in the season, but had a big one there.
30-yard reception even, and I'm not sure the coverage was all that it should have been there, as it looked like the cornerback broke a hair early, and then that allowed Palmer to come underneath and snag the reception.
Well, with 3:54 left to go before the half, Northwest Texans trying to punch it in with being down 14-3 right here. The ball is at the 32-yard line, handoff to Ashley, and he's met once again right at the line of scrimmage, and Justin Philpy this time brings him down and meets him, and it'll be a gain of about 2 yards inside the 30 to the 29.
In his first 6 carries, Drew Ashley was able to rack up his yardage total to 25, but in the last 5, he's only been able to net 12. So the McKinney defense is starting to figure him out just a little bit, it would seem.
2nd down and 8 from the 29-yard line. 3 receivers to the near side. Moving left to right is Justin Northwest. This is McGangus on the run from the right side, and he hits his receiver for it's going to be very close to a first down. He tried to hit his man, Brandon Hall, and he did. And that's going to be very close. They're going to spot the ball at the 22-yard line, and I think he's going to actually have to get to the 21, so that's going to be a little short. It'll be 3rd down and 1 with 2:45 and rolling. The McKinney Lions on top 14-3.
Well, right now there have been 4 receptions for Northwest, and none of them have come to their leading receiver, Bryant Maxwell.
Palmer goes in motion, handoff, Ashley up the middle, big hole. He's at the 10 and down at the 6-yard line. It'll be first down. And I believe they're going to mark him right at the 6. 2:25 left before the half, and Justin Northwest trying to make a push here.
Well, just as I say, they're figuring out Drew Ashley. I get bit by the announcer's jinx. He breaks a 15-yard gain and gets the ball 1st and goal at the 6.
Well, McKinney had a big goal line stand last time. Let's see what they can do here before the half. 2:14 and rolling. McKinney on top, 14-3. Man in motion, handoff. Ashley up the middle, met, and nowhere is he going, as he might have got forward progress to the 4-yard line, but both officials are standing on the 5, so call it no gain. 1:42 now, inside 2 minutes before the half. McGangus goes inside the huddle, steps down on his right knee, now gets up, sends everybody out to the line of scrimmage. Bryant Maxwell, the big receiver, comes near side. 2 receivers to the far side, barking signals. This is going to be a handoff. Ashley running right side, cuts it back inside, met, and down at the 1-yard line. 1:28 left to go before the half. It will be 3rd down and goal for Justin Northwest, and this could be an exciting finish to this first half.
Well, the last time McKinney had a goal line stand, Drew Ashley was able to run down to the 1-yard line for a first down, and they stopped him on 3 plays to settle for a field goal. This time it would be 3rd and goal at the 1. So all you need to do is stop him just once for no gain and then hopefully settle for another field goal attempt.
Neither team taking any timeouts. Under a minute now, 58 seconds and rolling. This will be 3rd down and 1. And handoff, Ashley up the middle, fighting, no indication. I don't believe he made it.
Wow.
4th and goal from the 1. We have 41 seconds and rolling.
Monty, with that stop, Northwest is now 1 of 5 on converting 3rd downs.
Probably going to try and
I think they have to take the points here.
Well, they'll probably run the clock out,
Okay.
the play clock down, call a timeout, and then figure out what they're going to do.
That's a good plan because then that would leave basically enough time for a kickoff, especially if you boot it deep. Because right now there's about a 6.5 difference between the game clock and the play clock. So if you get the play clock down to 1, you're in good shape, and they take the timeout at 2, so there'll be 9 seconds left officially.
There is 9 seconds on the clock. We'll keep it right here. And this has been an extremely exciting first half, Brandon.
No kidding. And you know what? With so little time left, why not go for it? Granted, you would like to be able to go down a 1 touchdown and 2-point conversion away from a tie. But if you got one of the best running backs in the district here, although you wouldn't be able to tell it tonight as he's already has 17 carries for only 57 yards. I mean, that guy is a guy who averages 200 yards per game. But you just need 1 yard, and he's consistently – he hasn't been stopped behind the line of scrimmage. He's been stopped a couple of times for no gain, which might be concerning. But this is a guy who can run. You know, this is going to be a tough decision for Northwest.
Ashley came into the game averaging over 8, almost 9 yards per carry, averaging just a little over 3, I think, tonight.
Yeah, I mean, he's not doing a very good job once he gets to the line of scrimmage, basically because the McKinney defense is chomping down on him.
This is going to be a huge play as the McKinney faithful come to their feet on the far sideline. 9 seconds left to go. It is 4th and goal from the 1 yard line. 9 seconds before the half. I formation. Will McGangus, the quarterback, under center. He is going to fumble the football, and McKinney has denied Justin Northwest before the half. A huge play by McKinney. And actually, it was really luck for McKinney. It was a
huge break.
It was a huge break. That's exactly right. As the quarterback McGangus bobbled the snap, and that's twice he's done that.
That's twice at the goal line.
In clutch situations, McGangus has really just fell apart. 7 seconds left on the clock, so McKinney will have a chance to come out. I don't imagine that they'll do much of anything other than maybe run Chris Wimbish. Well, he might take a chance on Chris Wimbish because when he finds a seam, he can go the distance.
Well, he does have a 67-yarder for a run, plus he's got a touchdown pass. So right now he's your big playmaker. But it looks like they're coming out in what our coaches would call the victory formation, where you just take a knee.
And that's what they're going to do. Alcorn goes underneath the center, drops back, steps to his right knee, downs it 3, 2, 1. We are at halftime, and it's been a great half for McKinney, as they're leading 14-3 in this one. And I tell you what, it was big from the get-go. The first 4 plays that we saw from the line of scrimmage, we saw 2 touchdowns. 1 only counted, and thankfully for the McKinney fans, it was the 67-yard touchdown of Chris Wimbish, the one that counted.
Well, you could basically say this McKinney defense has had 1 mental mistake, and on that same play, Northwest made a mental mistake that called it back, so it evened things out. And right now, I'm telling you, I'm stoked by I told you at the beginning of the season, I'm a defensive kind of guy. I am stoked by the way this defense is playing. 2 goal line stands. Beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful. And what's beautiful to McKinney fans is the scoreboard, 14-3. McKinney Lions on top. We'll have more for we'll have halftime information. We'll have some guys from McKinneySports.net to talk about that. Recap this first half a little bit. So 14-3, McKinney on top. Back in a moment on 97.5 K-Lake FM.
It gets extensive uses throughout the year. A football stadium is going to see about 6, 7, maybe 8 games a year, depending on playoffs and things like that.
Let's check down with Teddy Saffo. I believe he has Coach Todd McVeigh down there with him. Teddy?
Hey, thanks a lot, Monty. Coach McVeigh didn't take so long to dust off the I formation.
Say again?
Didn't take too long for you to dust up the old I formation tonight. You guys have been pointing out tonight.
It's always been there. We just felt like that was something our kids felt good about, and we wanted to give them an opportunity to have a little success tonight.
Coach, anything you could tell us that you told your kids in during your halftime speech in the locker room?
Yeah, that's over now. It's 0-0 second half, and they've got an opportunity knocking at their door, and I hope their bags are still packed for it.
Thanks a lot, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Teddy Sappho, down on the field. And Coach Todd McVeigh telling them, hey, 0-0, don't even think about having a lead right now. And it's probably good advice.
Well, within the blink of an eye, the score can change. I just take you back to the Cowboy game from Monday night. How many people were feeling comfortable about that one, 14-0?
I, for one, was very comfortable, and I, for one, was not very happy after that football game.
And this one's not even a 14-0 game. This is 14-3. You're going to receive to open up the half, but let's say you fumble and it's picked up. That's solid coaching. You're not going to ever see a coach go to halftime up 14-3. All right, guys, we've got this one. You're never going to see that, and that's just something that McVay's no-nonsense kind of guy. We're going to have to go play football. We're going to smash it down your throat. Here's what we do. Try and stop us, and that's what he's saying right there. And I love the fact that by his response, the I formation has always been there. I think this might be something that was up their sleeve the whole time. Don't show your hand in non-district play and then surprise him once district time comes, because even the next opponent or two is not going to know the full context of this offense because they're only going to see one game. And heck, you look at just how many plays they've ran. Chris Wimbish has 8 carries, Zane Alcorn has 2, and then there's a pass play in the mix. So, they haven't run but maybe 15 to 20 plays. They're not tilting their playbook very much on this I formation at all.
Well, McKinney is going to have to pick it up in the second half. So far this year, they've only scored 1 touchdown in the third quarter. They have 7 total points scored in the third quarter and 9 in the fourth quarter. So, obviously, their big gain as far as points-wise has been in the second quarter. They've now scored 29 in the second and 13 in the first. It's really going to come down to this second half, whether they're going to be able to keep sustaining drives on offense.
And remember, at the start of the game, Northwest won the toss and chose to receive, and the majority of the passing for Northwest has come in that second quarter when they had the wind at their back, and now it's going to be McKinney's turn to decide what they're going to do. And I'm telling you, if it comes down to that fourth quarter, you may want to have the wind at your back and make the opponent throw into the wind. So it'll be interesting to see here if they decide to receive, or if they just decide to, hey, we're going to play the defense of the wind here, because that's a pretty stiff wind, especially for this area.
The other thing, on the flip side of what I was talking about on the offense and what McKinney has done in the second half, on the defensive side, they've had one good thing and one bad thing. In the third quarter, they've only allowed 6 points, and that's a great number. Only allowed, I believe, 2 field goals in the third quarter. Actually, it was a touchdown and a blocked PAT. And in the fourth quarter, the bad news is 25 points. And you've got to eliminate that fourth quarter surge from the opposition.
Well, let's go back to the very first game of the year, which we did at Fort Worth Western Hills, and that was the case. They had a tie advantage at the fourth quarter, but just couldn't stop them on their last touchdown drive. They ended up tying the score, but again, that one was called back from the penalty. I don't want to rehash on a non-district game that doesn't matter toward the playoff race, but that's a situation where they had a chance to buckle down and they couldn't. And so, this is a situation where they're going to be tested here, because let me tell you, the Texans are going to go after it. They're not a team, from what I've seen, they're not a team just to sit and take it too. They're going to try to do some things. And don't be surprised to see Drew Ashley get more than 57 second-half yards on the ground.
Well, one thing that McKinney talked about they're going to have to do to stop this football team, they said, number one, you're going to have to stop the running game, and that was Drew Ashley. And so far they basically have. Now, he has 57 yards.
But that's on 17 carries.
He hasn't been as effective as he normally is. And also the other thing that they were going to have to do is shut down Bryant Maxwell, their big wide receiver, and I don't think he has caught a pass. He might have gotten one.
It's Zach Palmer who's got 2. Drew Ashley has 1. And Brandon Hall has 1. Those are their 4 completions in the first half. Bryant Maxwell hasn't even been thrown to, Monty. And that's just something that's that defense is done. They're saying, you're not going to beat us. Ashley, you're not going to beat us. And Maxwell, you're not going to beat us. And so far, 3 points have proven that they're right.
Maybe the biggest play of the game in the first half might have been Ryan Packard's interception. That really turned things around. And on the very next play, Chris Wimbish was able to score from 67 yards and got McKinney the early lead. That was huge.
Well, I go back to your highlight. How defeated did we sound after they ran 81 yards for a score? And then all of a sudden there's pep in the step after the penalty and then the interception.
The Beef O'Brady's kickoff is about to be underway as the kicker, Stephen McMullen, will run to the ball. It is up in the air. It is a high kick. It is going to be taken by Eddie Morgan. He fumbles it inside the 5-yard line, picks it up, and now takes a knee inside the end zone. And McKinney will take the ball at the 20-yard line going right to left.
Well, that was problems from the beginning because I think they were expecting the pooch kick, and this might be a read they do by the kicker saying if you see him creep up, try to kick it over their head because that was fielded on the run. I really shouldn't say fielded since it was muffed, but he was going backwards with his back to the kicking team and then muffed it into the end zone. Luckily, it didn't go very far or anything like that, and they were able to get it down it for a touchback.
Again, scores to pass along. Dallas Kimball over Denison 20-7, and Greenville leading Sherman 20-2. Right here, 14-3. McKinney on top of Justin Northwest. 11:53 left to go. We're just underway in the second half. Two receivers to the near side. Power eye set. This is a handoff. Wimbish running right side. Has the 20, 25, breaking outside. Somehow gains 6 yards as he just is very slippery and hard to tackle out there.
6 guys touched him, Monty, and only the last one was able to bring him down.
He got a big high five from his fullback, Brett Anderson, as they go back to the huddle. 11:33 enrolling here in the third quarter. And McKinney looking to stretch the field a little bit here and maybe pop Wimbish on second down.
This could be Wimbish's biggest yardage total of the year. He's only 10 away from 100 now, and we just started the third.
Second down and about 4. This is going to be a toss left side. Wimbish trying to find a block. Gets one to the outside 30. Cuts it back inside 35, 40, and down at the 42-yard line. He read his blocks really nice. Brett Anderson had a great one to seal the outside. But hold on, there's a flag down at the 29-yard line. He had the first down by a lot, probably by 10 yards, 11 yards. And now it looks like a hold against McKinney. Bring that one back.
Well, that was toughy because that was a 15-yard gain. And a lot of that was the blocking up front, and a lot of that, too, was Wimbish making moves, making a couple of defenders miss, and then trying to break 2 defenders and cut between them. And those 2 defenders made the tackle, but they drug him 3 yards after contact was made. That was a good run by Wimbish, but now it's going to go for naught.
Well, the back judge, or actually the referee, Mike Reeves. Let's give you the officiating crew. Pat Sutherland is the umpire. Jim Zoda is the head linesman. The line judge, Kevin Jackson, and Anthony Fleming is the back judge. These guys are out of the Dallas chapter, and they will mark it against McKinney at the 16-yard line. It'll be second down and 14 from their own 16. Moving right to left, Alcorn goes under center, power I formation to the left. Anderson, the fullback, and they're going to fake the hand to Wimbish. Alcorn rolling for his life, and he is sacked inside the 5-yard line, back to the 4. It was a great play by the linebacking crew from Justin Northwest, as coming up from the left linebacker position, Travis Cate was all in the face on the blitz of Zane Alcorn.
And that's something Martinek might be a little better than on Alcorn, is the ability to throw the ball away. Alcorn was out of the pocket by far, although he did scramble pretty deep, so it's going to be a question of whether he can get it to the line of scrimmage or not, throwing it on the run and just whipping it out there. But he had the opportunity to, but just didn't, and then was sacked for a big loss. Third
down and 25 for the McKinney Lions, back inside their own 5 at the 4-yard line, and Alcorn's going to hand off up the middle, big hole. This is Wimbish, and he cuts it out to the 14. There for a moment, he had lots of daylight, and I think, if he didn't trip, he might have gone for, another 5, 10, 15 yards. Could have been close to the first down. However, he falls down, and it'll be fourth down and punting time for Zane Alcorn, and he will probably be standing inside his own 5.
Well, he basically tripped because the defender was able to catch a shoestring, basically. So he goes for 9 yards when he needed 25. But I think all that McKinney really was trying to do there was get some distance between them and the back of the end zone, and the 9-yard run by Wimbish did that.
Alcorn will stand at his own 3-yard line. The snap is back. It's good. And the left-footed punter, actually that's Martinek into the game, punting the football, crosses the 50 and will roll out of bounds at the 46-yard line. And check that. It was Ben Martinek who punted the football. There's a man down for McKinney. And Greg Miller is down on the field at the 38-yard line. He's on his stomach. He's moving all limbs. I think he's okay, but we'll check. He's taking some time here. Now they roll him over on his back.
We'll have to have Teddy investigate to see what's going on there. Hopefully he's okay. I didn't see any contact made there, but I'm not watching it specifically as I was watching the punter and then the ball roll.
Teddy had some information about Jade Ottawa earlier, too, and he may have had some injury information. Teddy, what have you got down there?
Well, as you did say earlier, Jade Ottawa, he did get hurt late in the first quarter. Now, on this play here, Greg Miller, there was a push in the back, and I don't know if it was called or not, but now he is down on the field as a result of that play. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Teddy. 9:02 left to go here in the third quarter. It may be an extensive timeout. We don't know how long. Of course, every time we take a timeout, they always pop right up, but we're going to take the test here. We're going to take a quick timeout. McKinney on top, 14-3, 9:02 left to go in the third quarter. Back in a moment on 97.5 K-Lake FM. Welcome back to Northwest ISD Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms. Let's remind you, most time, I found out something today, or Wednesday night actually, when we were at the Beef O'Brady's coaches show.
Kicking off the weekend on a Wednesday?
Yeah, that's exactly right. A lot of times, Coach McVay is mic'd up during the games.
Really?
I did not know this. Basically, every game except tonight. And
the time we know about it.
He has been mic'd up by True Image Productions. Chris McClintock down there has done a great job. He produces all the films and he's on the sidelines with the camera crew and everything. He gives those shots that you see during the highlight film and everything at the end of the year at the big football banquet. True Image Productions is responsible for all of that video work. It was just absolutely incredible to learn that Coach McVay is actually mic'd up, and you can hear.
Take advantage of that.
I'd love to hear what goes on during those huddles.
I don't know. Sometimes during the course of a game, a coach says something he may not be broadcast worthy.
I talked to Chris about that. A lot of coaches are like that. And he said Coach McVay is always very clean.
Oh.
You'll never hear anything come out of his mouth that shouldn't be.
Good.
Even his mother could probably listen to him mic'd up. So,
all right.
But it just fascinating things, how technology these days it can come about. 14-3, McKinney on top, 9:02 left to go in the third quarter. The injured player for McKinney, Greg Miller, the wide receiver, 5'10", 150-pound junior, is still down at the 39-yard line. They're attending to him. Both trainers from both schools are out there. Of course, the trainers for McKinney High are Jim Reiser and Jeff Clark. And the trainers for Northwest are out there as well. We also want to thank Germain Designs. They've always been so great to us over the past several years, providing our shirts and uniforms for our broadcast. If you ever see us out and about on a Friday, we normally have them on. They're pretty much jerseys. They're almost jerseys. They're kind of the mock tee, black. They have the logo, McKinney logo on the left sleeve, the McKinney North logo on the right sleeve. They're very sharp, and every time I'm out Wednesday night, somebody compliments about them.
Yeah, because these are pretty snazzy. This is what I go out on my Friday and Saturday nights wearing just because it makes me look so good. But I don't know if you've ever seen those movies where when, like a player's training or whatever, and then it comes game day and they do those serious where they're putting on the uniforms and they got the serious look on their face. That's what I do when I put these on. It just gets me into the football feel of things. These are pretty good, and we got to thank them. They did a great job in making us look good. And let me tell you, that's not an easy proposition to do.
Well, the injured McKinney Lion will get up now. Greg Miller is walking off. He is under his own power. He's not being assisted or anything like that. He was on the near side, so he's going to have to walk a while to get to the far sideline. Also want to remind you, if you want to email us up here in the booth, McKinneyBooth@klake.com. That's KLAKE.com. So fire off whatever you have that you want to tell us. If we missed something or if you like what we're doing, just holler back.
And we can take the criticism, let me tell you.
well, Brandon can anyway. We know Teddy can. All right, we're back at action. 9:02 left to go in the third quarter. 14-3, McKinney on top. Justin Northwest has the ball at their own 46-yard line. This is going to be a handoff. Ashley running left to right, running to the left tackle position, and he will gain a couple of yards just shy of midfield out to the 48-yard line. That'll bring up second down at about 8.
Well, that was the 18th carry for Ashley, and the first carry of the second half was very similar to a lot of the 17 from the first half, just trying to look for a seam, a crease, anything, and McKinney's defensive pursuit is there. They have used the pursuit of McKinney to advantage by running a reverse a couple of times or rather once, and having it work, but right now the pursuit of McKinney is just great.
Paul Wynn in at a defensive tackle position for McKinney. Shotgun formation. This is McGinnis. He's wanting to pass. Throws across the middle for Ashley, and it is caught, and he's dropped immediately. It was a great play by Brandon Ogletree, who saw him coming and stopped him in his tracks. It'll be third down and about 4.5, possibly 5.
That's exactly what you want out of that route, a simple flare into the flat. Basically a circle pattern coming out of the backfield, just camping out there, and there was enough distance between the receiver and the cover man there for a very solid reception and a pickup of about 4 to 5.
Big play here for Justin Northwest, third down and 5. Just crossed the midfield stripe. McGangus throws over to the left side, has his man caught. First down, Palmer, as he will move it out to the 42-yard line. It was a great play as Palmer just stepped out in the flat, got a great little pick block, and caught it on the inside move and had enough for the first down. They'll move the chains. The ball now at the 42-yard line. Northwest Texans moving left to right with 7:34 left in the third quarter clock, 14-3, McKinney on top.
Now, who caught the pass prior to the Palmer reception there?
It was Ashley, the tailback.
So Ashley now has 2 catches when he didn't have one prior, and Maxwell still has none.
This is going to be a handoff. Ashley running right guard. He's popped at the line of scrimmage and brought down at the 40, or rather the 39, as they're going to give him forward progress. It was a stop by J.D. Dowling and also Adam Fairborn. Second down and 7 from the 39 inside McKinney territory.
Well, now 62 yards on 19 carries. They're just not letting Ashley get a lot of room, and as a defensive fan, I'm loving this. This is a great job by the McKinney D. 2
receivers either side. McGangus wants it, throws out right side, has a man, and right now Maxwell finally has his first catch at the 33-yard line. It's very close to the sticks. He's going to be a little bit short, though, as Maxwell, who came into the game with 13 catches, 165 yards and a touchdown. He was averaging 12.69 yards per catch, was actually shut out in the first half, catches his first one here.
Well, have been 7 receptions by the receiving core of the Texans, and the 7th reception is Maxwell's first. So they've done a good job in limiting him.
Darian Royal lined up against Maxwell here, and Ashley's going to get the handoff, running right side, flag down, has the corner, and dragged out of bounds by Cates Keith inside the 15-yard line, but we'll check the flag. The Hankies laying at about the 29-yard line.
Right now it stands as a 17-yard gain, and judging from the reaction of the Texans sideline, it's going to be on McKinney, and they're going to decline that one, so the carry will stand. And it is indeed on McKinney and declined. So 17 yards for Ashley, and that's been his biggest carry so far here in the later part of his game. He had a big carry to open up, to begin the game. I'm stumbling here, but he's been really held in relative check from the second quarter on.
Ball's at the 16-yard line. First and 10, 6:05 left to go in the third quarter. McKinney on top, 14-3. Handoff Ashley up the middle, stumbles and falls across the 15 to the 14-yard line. And now we are under 6 minutes here in the third quarter.
Well, he's got 20 carries. Now that's his 21st, and only 81 yards to show for it. And I'm telling you, judging by the Texan offense coming out of the half, they're going to start going into a passing mode a little bit more. They've thrown more times than Ashley has carried the ball, and they've had good results from it.
This drive started at Northwest's own 46-yard line. Right now they're knocking at the door in McKinney territory at the 14. 2nd down and 8. Shotgun formation, 3 receivers to the left, and McGangus is going to keep it up the middle on the trap, the quarterback trap, and he's going to be close to a 1st down. It will be 3rd down, however, and probably about 1.5 as the ball is at the 8-yard line. He needs to get to about the 6. So a big play coming up here. 5:19 left to go in the 3rd quarter.
Thanks to 2 fumbles and a sack in that first half, McAngus had negative rushing yards for the half, but that gain of 6 puts him at 1 for the game. But he can run the ball.
3 receivers out, wide left. Man goes in motion, handoff. Ashley up the middle. He is stopped and then surges forward, has the 1st down inside the 5 to the 1-yard line. Ashley is going to have 4 chances to knock it in here. You think that Northwest, that when Justin Northwest gets down here, you think at this point in the football game, down 14-3, field goals really aren't going to help you a whole lot. You really need to start putting it in the end zone.
Well, if they get a field goal here with 4.5 left in the 3rd quarter, they just need a touchdown and a 2-point to tie, so you need points.
Man in motion, handoff. Ashley fumbles the football. McKinney may have it. Can you believe that? Every time you want something to happen for that McKinney defense down around the end zone, something does.
81 comes up with a fumble, and I don't have him here on the sheet that I have.
Actually, I think that was Adam Fairborn, 91, who came up with it, the defensive end. With 4:38 left to go in the 3rd, McKinney comes up with the football. And how many times you've got to feel like Northwest has got to be thinking, what's going to happen when we get down around the 1? The ball just seems to fall out on the turf.
You wonder if McAngus, the Texan quarterback, just gets sweaty palms as he gets closer to the goal line.
This is going to be a handoff up the middle. Wimbish cuts it outside, cuts it inside 10, 15, and down at the 16-yard line. Wimbish is some kind of running back. He's just exciting and electric and fun to watch as he picks up the 1st down and takes McKinney way out of deep of their own territory and gives them a little breathing room out to the 15. And I'll tell you what, Chris Wimbish loves this I formation.
Well, that gain of 12 puts him at over 100 yards. He's got 111 on 11 carries, Monty. 10 per carry rush was his first half average, and that's what he's staying at now here late in the 3rd quarter.
4:12 left to go, and there's a flag on the play there.
Well, the right guard for the Lion offense moved, Jared Thompson, false start, and you could tell that he was going to be a pulling guard on that, so he was trying to get the early head start. However, apparently the snap count was on 2, and Thompson went on 1, but he was definitely starting to pull because he looked at the quarterback on his first step, and that's not something you do if you're doing a standard block.
4:02 and rolling here in the 3rd quarter. McKinney on top, 14-3. This has been a great football game so far. Both teams trying to find themselves offensively, but defensively, both teams have played fairly well. This is going to be a toss right side. Wimbish looking for the corner, and he is met immediately. 2 men were in his face. Brett Anderson couldn't get the block as Blake Collier, the outstanding safety / linebacker, was in the face and in the backfield even before Wimbish could get to the line of scrimmage. And that ball will be downed. They will mark it at the 8-yard line. So 2nd down and a truckload to go.
That's one of the things, if you have a speedy runner going to the outside, can be an advantage because he outruns everybody. However, if the cornerback plays contained as he should, which he did there, and the pursuit is there, going to the outside is a risky proposition, and it was on that play.
I formation, Brett Anderson the fullback, Wimbish the tailback, and he's going to hand off. Wimbish shakes one defender, moves out right side, and gets out across the 10 to the 14-yard line. Gain of about 6-7 yards on the play, but well short of the 1st down. Is still 3rd down and 10 here. Ball's going to be resting in between the 14 and the 15-yard line.
Right now, the majority of the second half has been played in the shadow of McKinney's end zone, both from the Texan offense perspective and the McKinney offensive perspective. And you wonder at some point if they're going to try to air it out, maybe get some distance between them, especially when you've got a 3rd and long at the 15. This might be a play where you think about that.
Zilmer and Peters come near side. I formation. Alcorn wants to pass, in trouble. Now rolls out left side. He could run for some at the 20, busts his way down to the 24-yard line as he lowers the boom, knocks out one defender. The defender that really took the punishment from Alcorn was the linebacker Nelson Windebank, and he comes up shaking his head a little bit.
I think you're seeing the big reason why Alcorn replaced Martinet, because Martinet has a very small mobility for a quarterback, and Alcorn had the pocket collapse quickly, found a seam to the left. Majority of the secondary was in coverage, and on a 3rd and 11, he got 9. Really just needed about a half a yard more on the just the lowering of the shoulder to get near the first down.
Martinet comes into punt and kicks a high spiraling punt that's going to go down, and a fumble on the play, and McKinney has recovered. What a turn of events for McKinney, a brand new McKinney Lion. Actually, that was Preston Turner. I thought it was a new one of the call-ups, but Preston Turner was right there on the coverage. It went right through Collier's hands, who tried to field it. He tried to make a run for the ball, actually, and it went through his hands. Preston Turner was right there, scooped it up.
Boy, it almost – I mean, I hate to say this, but it almost seems like the Texans are trying to give this away. 3 fumbles on 3 different goal line to-go possessions that have halted a drive. One of them a direct turnover, one that settled for a field goal, and one that was on a 4th down attempt. And now here you're going to get good field position. If you field that cleanly, you're going to be around the 40-yard line, and instead you fumbled away and give McKinney great field position.
1st down and 10 at the 38-yard line. Handoff, Wimbish up the middle, and, you know, that's that play that they really lead Wimbish to the right side. The ball is exposed, and the Northwest Texans are able to find that one and stuff it very quickly, as they will give him forward progress. But that forward progress is about an inch or two.
Well, right now they've been riding the coattails of Wimbish, but it seems the second half adjustments have been made largely in part to limit what Wimbish has done. And right now I think they're going to have to try a different weapon here on offense.
2nd down and, well, 9 3/4. 2 receivers, Zilmer and Peters near side. I formation, Anderson and Wimbish in the backfield. Fumble on the play. Alcorn picks it up and still is somehow, I thought for a moment he was able to gain a few yards, and he actually fumbled, but they're going to say the ground caused it. So
yeah, I mean, the reason he lost it was because he was lunging and he put his arms extended with both hands on each end of the football, and as he hit the ground it pried loose, so that's by definition being down, and the officials right on top of that. However, it was only a 1-yard gain, but they dodged the bullet because it was going to be about a 3-yard loss from where he picked it up.
3rd down and 8 as Jeff Fuller will check into the ball game. Brett Anderson checks out, so look for 3 receivers in the spread look here as Fuller will go split out wide right. 1 man in the backfield is Wimbish. Michael Peters splitting the slot left. This is Alcorn rolling out, flags down, and we'll check and see what that one is. It'll probably be a false start against McKinney.
Yeah, somebody moved on the line. I saw it right away.
So what was 3rd down and 8 will now be 3rd down and 13. There's only 39 seconds left to go before the 4th quarter.
Boy, as much as I said it seems the Texans are trying to give this one away, it almost seems like McKinney with the penalties are trying to give it right back.
Timeout on the field. We'll take one, too. 39 seconds left to go before the 4th quarter. 14-3, McKinney on top. 3rd down and 8. Alcorn back to pass. Has a man over the middle. Zilmer, and it's just out of reach for Zilmer. He was diving across the middle. It'll be 4th down. They actually called the timeout before the play went underway a moment ago, and it wasn't offsides. They got the timeout off. The play clock was winding down, and I believe that's what the situation was.
Well, they dodged the bullet because I saw the lineman move. So, I mean, they're lucky in 2 factors. And however, Alcorn led the receiver just a hair too much, but on defense, in coverage there for the Texans was Blake Collier, and he had maybe an arm around Zilmer.
Well, this is going to be Alcorn punts it away, and this one's not going to. Well, it's going to bounce. Oh, wow. It went under the legs of Michael Peters. He was down there in time. The ball bounced at the 5-yard line, took a hop towards the end zone. Michael Peters was right there to play third base or shortstop, scoop it right up. It went right through his legs, Bill Buckner style.
I was just about to say, he Bill Bucknered it. I mean, there's no other way to describe that. He's in perfect field position. I mean, perfect
fielding position.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, it was almost like he was the punt returner there, and then it took the bounce and clearly went under his legs, which is easier to do for a baseball than a football, but I guess he was expecting a big hop there.
First down and 10 for Justin Northwest. Palmer goes in motion. McAngus looking out right side, has a man caught at the 22 and scurries his way out of bounds to about the 23-yard line. And on the catch for Justin Northwest was Alan Craig. Or actually, no, that's Jacob Withers who makes the catch. And Withers came in with 2 catches, 34 yards. Tack on one there, the 6-foot, 180-pound junior. Gains 6 yards, close to 7. Out to the 27-yard line. Second down, 2 receivers either side. McAngus drops back now, rolls up the middle, trying to run left, and he is met right at the 30-yard line. Brandon Ogletree stops him, along with a couple of other Lions. 12 seconds left to go in the third quarter. McKinney on top, 14-3 here at the brand-new Northwest ISD Stadium. It is beautiful, and right now it is beautiful if you're a Lions fan.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, I've got an uneasy feeling right now. Will McAngus completed 4 passes in the first half, and right now he's completed 8, but only on 5 attempts, and he was 4 of 6 in the first half, so I'm worried about this Texan passing game.
First down and 10, as McAngus will send a slew of receivers out wide. 2 to either side. Shotgun formation. Ashley stands to his right. Man in motion. Hands off. Ashley, he falls down almost as soon as he got the football. And will cross out to the 31-yard line. So we got back to the line of scrimmage and gained 1. It is fourth quarter time in Texas. McKinney leads 14-3. We'll be back in a moment on 97.5 K-Lake FM. First down and 10. McAngus fires it out to Maxwell, caught at the 36-yard line. Maxwell has been kind of quiet tonight. The big receiver came in with 13 catches, by far and away more than anybody else. Nobody else even had 3. He catches his second pass of the night there. It'll be third down and 5 from the 35-yard line. McAngus just kind of rolled out right through it on the first play of the fourth quarter. 11:56. And McKinney leads 14-3. 2 receivers to the right side. Maxwell will come near side. Ashley in the backfield standing beside McAngus. He drops back 3 steps, throws it out in the flats. Ashley all alone. 40. And ball is on the turf. McKinney has recovered. Ashley fumbled the ball. And once again, I'm telling you, McKinney has come up time after time after time with the big play on defense.
And this is another situation where the passing game was working, but the Texans give it away. And once again, they fumble where McKinney's going to start their offensive possession inside Northwest territory. And right now, Will McAngus has completed 6 passes here in the second half on 7 attempts. And he's gained some nice yardage. That one would have been a 7-yarder. So he's over 100 yards. And Drew Ashley only has 88 on the ground. I'm telling you, I'm going to be worried about this passing game, but if they keep fumbling it, why worry?
McKinney right there to scoop up the football. A couple of guys had to go for it before it was finally picked up. Man goes in motion here on first down and 10. Alcorn hands off Wimbish, running up the middle, not much doing there. He's going to gain a couple of yards after the 38, maybe gain 1. Second down and 9.
I'm starting to wonder about some of the play calling because it seems as though the Texans are biting down on Wimbish because he hasn't done much here in the second half. He started the half with 84 yards, and right carrier alone puts him at only 116, so he hasn't done much. And I'm wondering if it's a conservative thing where they're just trying to run out the clock and just chew up the yardage and time.
Jeff Fuller goes wide left. Zilmer wide right. Peters goes in motion. And it's going to be a toss left side. Chris Wimbish has the 40 and down at the 36-yard line. Gain of about 2 or 3. It'll be third down and 6. 10:56 and rolling here in the fourth quarter.
Wasted opportunity by Wimbish there because Alcorn was about to lay a heck of a block on the tackler that eventually would get Wimbish, but Wimbish didn't want to wait for the Alcorn block, and there was nobody behind Alcorn for at least 5 yards, so it probably would have been a first down instead of the gain of 2 that it was.
I'll tell you right now, if they were to run that same play and fake the toss out to Wimbish and run Alcorn out on a naked bootleg, he could run all day long. 3rd down and 6, maybe 7, with 10:24 and rolling. This is going to be Alcorn. Fakes the hand to Wimbish, throws on the backside and overthrows Dominique Sweeney. And a flag down on the play. Sweeney was trying to really come hard and catch the ball. He was running at the marker, maybe a yard shy of the first down marker, but he was all alone.
Yeah.
If he could have connected on that, it would have been a big ton of yardage. Flag down.
That's the big thing, though. Most of the offensive play was designed where it was going to the left side of the formation, and Peters comes about on the near side of the formation.
A lot of time on that play, it's really hard to judge where the crown is, where they're actually going to be. But on this field, there's absolutely no crown on this field. We got down actually on our bellies and looked across the field to see how high the crown was, the high center of the field, and it was not at all. It was maybe an inch.
Let me tell you, you don't want to be playing on this field during the rain. And the penalty on McKinney, so it wouldn't have mattered anyway.
Well,
illegal man downfield. Of course, Northwestern going to decline that one to set up a 4th and 7. But continue on with your point about the flat ground.
Well, it was. It's one of those fields that you don't have to worry about the crown sloping down to the sideline when you're trying to make that pass. You know, Brett Favre used to have a heck of a time playing at Texas Stadium because the crown is so significant at Texas Stadium. Brett Favre never could play well there.
Well, I remember one time we got a new crown at our field back when I was in high school, and I was running across and fell on my belly.
Punt formation and lots of moving and shifting going on for McKinney. Play clock down to 8 as 4th down and 7. This is Martinek trying to get the punt off and does. It's a poocher. It lands at the 8, takes a sideways hop out of bounds, and that's perfect.
Exactly what you want in that situation. You want to try to get the ball inside the 20, and when you're punting from the 36, your ultimate goal is inside the 10, inside the 5 even. They got it down to the 7. That means even to try to take a 10-3 disadvantage, the Texans to try to get a touchdown in a 14-10 disadvantage, they've got to go 93 yards to do it. Not exactly a favorable condition to start out this drive, especially with 10 minutes left in regulation.
McKinney, who stormed out on offense early in the first half, has now punted 3 times here in the second half. 1st down and 10 for Justin Northwest at their own 7-yard line. 10-13 left to go in this football game. McGangus wants to throw the fade route out near side, and Maxwell goes up for it and can't bring it down. It was great coverage by Ryan Packard. Some of them wanted a flag, but they were both going for the ball, and it's just as much Ryan Packard's as it is Bryant Maxwell's.
And if you say this play has to have a pass interference penalty, more than likely it's going to go on Maxwell there because Packard had the position on the ball and went up for it, and when Maxwell went up for it, he bumped into Packard. So that's just a good non-call. Let them play football. Both are going for the ball.
You're talking about 6'2" Bryant Maxwell and 5'6" Ryan Packard.
Second made the play.
2nd down and 10. Handoff Ashley up the middle, and he will surge for a couple of yards as the McKinney Lions did a great job there standing him up. Eddie Morgan and Brandon Ogletree, and I tell you what, Ogletree's he's in on just about every tackle.
And that's what you want out of a linebacker. He's a playmaking linebacker, and he's a great complement to J.D. Dowling. Those two just make plays from their linebacker position.
And let's not forget about Adonis Graham over there. Sometimes we do, but Adonis Graham holds up very nice. Came into the game with 6 solo tackles. J.D. Dowling had 19, Brandon Ogletree 24. Shotgun formation, 3 receivers near side. 3rd down and 7, and McGangus wants to throw it out. Has a man caught and fumble on the play. He fumbles out of bounds. Ryan Packard hit him.
Oh, no.
It was completed to the slot back Ramirez. Ryan Packard nailed him.
Okay.
The ball came flying out and went out of bounds, and what I thought for a moment might be close to a first down.
Well,
but
it was. He had the first down, and they were initially marking it as a first down. They were just showing where he was when the ball was fumbled. But then the fumble knocked the ball back behind the first down line and then out of bounds, and then they marked it correctly.
horrible luck for Justin Northwest tonight. 4th down and 2. And at some point, Justin Northwest is going to have to get things going on offense as they've just not been able to hold on to the football. This is going to be the punter, Merritt, goes back. It's a high, nice, booming, spiraling punt. It's going to be taken at the 49-yard line. Fair catch called for by Darian Royal. Makes the catch. hauls it in, and with 9:16 left to go before the end of this football game, McKinney in position to win it, 14-3 on top here.
And they say you make your own luck, and that's really been the case for McKinney. Minus a couple of McGangus, the Texan quarterback, fumbles on his own that McKinney didn't do. McKinney's pretty much made the luck like that. They forced the fumble to knock it behind the sticks. They've jumped on a McGangus fumble. They've intercepted a McGangus pass. So they've really made their own luck tonight, and that's why I'm loving this defensive performance.
9:16 left to go. 14-3, McKinney on top, moving left to right now. They have the ball inside Texans territory at the 49. It's going to be a handoff. Wimbish, nothing doing there. He's going to struggle to get back to the line of scrimmage. There were men right in his face. You know, talking about the weight advantage for Justin Northwest, they are absolutely huge. They average 221 across the defensive line, which actually is smaller than McKinney's offensive line, who averages 231. So up front, it's an advantage for McKinney, but it's the wideouts, as McKinney looks like they drew Northwest off sides. We'll have to check and see, as men were flying across that right side of the offensive line.
Two-hut count.
Contact was made. I think it was McKinney drawing them off sides, but we'll see.
Yeah, and that's the case. The official makes the call right now. Encroachment on the defense, and all that did was basically do a 2 count, and it's a hard hut and then a hut, and then the first hut draws the defensive line off sides because, you know, they're wind tight right there, come across the line and smashed into it, and Kenny's ready for it, not moving.
2nd down and 6 at the 45-yard line in Northwest territory. 2 receivers near side, one to the far right. Alcorn handoff. Wimbish trying to find some room, cuts it left side, 40. Look out, 30. 25-20, kiss him goodbye, 10-5. It is touchdown time in Texas, and that may seal the deal for McKinney as they now will go on top 20-3, awaiting the PAT.
And just as I was about to make the point, they're shutting women. Need to do something else. You're getting too conservative on the play call. You know, the Texan defense came into the second half with Wimbish averaging over 10 per carry, and now it was down to 6-8-8. And then he just busts a 45-yard touchdown run, basically picking his way through, juking defenders, making a miss, and then outrunning them.
20-3 with 8:18 left to go. And it will be Kleineberg on to boot this PAT. Snaps back, it's on the tee, the kick is up, and the kick is good. 21-3, McKinney leads in this one. Back in a moment on 97.5 K-Lake FM. Welcome back to Northwest ISD Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms. 21-3, McKinney just maybe blew this one open with a 45-yard touchdown by Chris Wimbish. And McKinney now awaiting the Beef O'Brady's kickoff. Kleineberg standing at the 35-yard line with his team still huddled up. And I tell you what, Wimbish has really taken control tonight with that I formation. With Brett Anderson back at that fullback position, it seems like he's got a little bit more step and a couple of more running lanes to go through. It's very reminiscent of 2004. Kleineberg kicks the pooch kick on the Beef O'Brady's kickoff. It's going to be taken at the 31 by an up man for Justin Northwest, and I believe that was Bryant Maxwell who came down with it. And it was. Maxwell came down with that kick return. And Northwest will take over at the 31-yard line with 8:12 left to go, and all of a sudden they're down 18 points.
And all McKinney is really trying to do there, Monty, with that kickoff is just limit the return. You're up 18 now at this point. It's a guaranteed 3-possession game. You have to get 2 touchdowns and a field goal with even a 2-point conversion in the mix.
1st down and 10, 8:12 left to go. 3 receivers left side, 1 to the right. McGangus, quarterback, low snap, drops back 2 steps, wants to throw, has a man in his face, and he throws on the run, and he completes it somehow. A great job by McGangus, who completes his pass out to Jacob Withers. It's going to be a 4-yard gain as he was driven out of bounds, but I'm telling you what, it was McGangus who had a man all over his back. He was being driven down to the turf and threw the ball out as he was going down. You have to tip your hat to the coach's son there who came up with the big play. It'll be 2nd down and 7.
Well, Casey Cooley was on his back, and they had a man deep. If he's not on his back, we may be looking at a 6-point swing for Northwest.
This is McKinney. Drops back now, tucks it up and runs. He's going to cross the 40-yard line, has first down, flag down, and then he was pushed back behind the line, the first down marker. And Brandon, did you see what went on there?
Well, the blocker right in front of McAngus on the run there was holding. I don't think there's any way they missed that one.
Holding Northwest, bring that one back. 7:59 left to go in the game, 21-3. McKinney on top here at Northwest ISD Stadium.
When we talk about Justin can't catch a break, they had a first down run which stops the clock to move the chains, so they would have been able to get right back on the line of scrimmage. Our clock does stop on an offensive penalty, but now they're backed up 10 yards and face a 2nd and 12. Luckily for Northwest, it was a holding downfield, so instead of what could have been a 2nd and 15.
Blake Collier into the game for Justin Northwest. He'll come out, split out wide left. It will be Zach Palmer in the slot. Shotgun formation for Will McAngus, who has Ashley standing to his left. 2-step drop. McAngus wants to throw. Throws out right side. Caught at the 38-yard line. Driven down hard by 4 McKinney Lions, including Brett Anderson way out there on the far side.
Bryant Maxwell starting to make his presence felt in this game. He doesn't have a lot of yards, but does have 3 receptions. That one good for about 8 to bring his total to 17. But he's starting to be that possession receiver. However, when you're down 18, you need more than that.
Brings up 3rd down 4.
2 receivers to either side. Ashley standing to the right or left of McAngus this time. McAngus going to roll out left side, throws across his body and overshoots his receiver, and I thought that was nearly going to be picked off by Ryan Packard again, but he was trying to find his receiver who caught it a moment ago, Jacob Withers. Withers was just not tall enough for that one as he steps in at 6 foot. He needed to be about 6'4" for that one.
Right now, it's going to be a 4th down situation. You would think that would be really good for McKinney. You know, if they get a stop, it is. But it's not putting the game away with 7:06 left on the scoreboard, 3 timeouts left for Northwest. It's far from over.
Ball at the 38-yard line. Northwest in their own territory. 3 receivers left side. McAngus drops back, rolls to the left, in trouble, and now throws, and it's picked off by Ryan Packard. You can take it to the house. It is touchdown time in Texas. Ryan Packard may have sealed the deal there with 6:58 left to go in this football game. Ryan Packard picks off his 2nd pass tonight.
Jumped the route. This time he gets a return. It's 42 yards and a touchdown.
Well, there's a flag down at the 10-yard line. We'll check the penalty here and see what it is. I believe it's against Northwest.
That's what McKinney signaled.
Brandon Ogletree is standing at the 10, pointing towards Northwest. So we'll check everything. The points are not on the board yet, but what a great pickoff by Ryan Packard.
Well, basically, here's what happened. There was a back flat. Maybe it was a receiver on the near side in tight. It's one of the two. I didn't see who the receiver was. I was busy watching Packard jump the route, and McAngus was being rushed, so he was looking at the receiver the whole time. Packard jumped the route as soon as the ball was thrown, watching McAngus look at the receiver the whole time, and had nothing but the green and black of the turf ahead of him.
27-3 as the penalty will go against Justin Northwest. 6:58 left to go in this football game, and the Lions seem to be in cruise control at this position.
Great defense.
27-3, awaiting the PAT from Kleineberg. Packard will now catch his breath and go on to hold this PAT at the 10-yard line.
Rather, Packard catches breath. I don't think Kleineberg's got much breath to catch.
I believe I said Packard. Did I not?
Nope.
All right, well, Packard will catch his breath. And he'll take the snap. The hold is good, and the kick is way up on top of that brand-new net. 28-3. McKinney is all over Justin Northwest now. It hasn't been that way, but looks like it now. 6:58 left to go in the football game. Back in a moment on 97.5 K-Lake FM. Welcome back to the brand-new facility here at Northwest ISD. It's the Northwest ISD Stadium. As the 15-yard penalty, the unsportsmanlike conduct will now be enforced on the kickoff, and Mr. Kleineberg, Patrick Kleineberg, will kick off from the Texans' 45-yard line, so this would be a great time to do that pooch kick.
Well, I was thinking if it's a closer game, this could be an instance for an onside kick.
Well, it is not a pooch kick. It is not anywhere close to a pooch kick. as Kleineberg boots it almost out of the brand new stadium here.
Why not? No return. Ball starts at the 20. I like that. Good call. In this situation, probably the best one because you know you're not going to get a return. Your defense has been up to the task and stopping the Northwest offense all game, especially when their backs are against the wall, and you got a 25-point lead. Now it's basically just running out the 6:55 left on the clock.
6:55, as you mentioned, on the clock. 28-3. McKinney on top. It's been an electric couple of minutes here as Chris Wimbish took it to the house from 45 yards out, made it 21-3. It was a tight ball game up until a few minutes ago. And then moments ago, as on 4th down, Justin Northwest quarterback McGangus threw it out to his best receiver, Bryant Maxwell, or his favorite receiver, and Ryan Packard just stepped in front of it and took it to the house. This is going to be McGangus once again, throws it out, same pattern, and this time Maxwell catches it. Packard couldn't bring him down, but he had somebody else there to help him, and Matt Hamilton did so.
Well, Packard did all the work in stopping.
I said that was Maxwell, but it was not. It was Arsenio Phillips who made the catch.
Yeah, I was looking for the number 6 and didn't just come up real quickly, but Packard's doing a great job in coverage tonight. He's going to be my defensive player of the game.
3 receivers to the right, shotgun formation, 2nd down and 6. McGangus throws it out in the flat, has Palmer who caught it, crosses the 30 near the 35 as he goes down at the 34-yard line. 6:17 and rolling as Northwest Texans pick up the first down, but they're going to have to pick up a lot more than just that one first down. They're down by 25 points, and McKinney is in cruise control here in the fourth quarter.
Well, right now you're basically just trying to work on plays for next game. I mean, this is almost an insurmountable hole.
First down and 10 for Northwest as McGangus will look left side, throws it out. Ryan Packard tried to pick it off again. It was once again intended for Arsenio Phillips, but Packard was right there, and it was a bad throw. It was not going to be caught anyway, but Packard was trying to jump it again.
Let me give a hint to Leonard McAngus and offensive coordinator Larry Meek for the Texans. Stop throwing to Packard's side.
You know, Darian Royal told us that of all the secondary, who would win on Survivor, he said Ryan Packard just because he has a big heart.
Well, he gets my vote.
Drops back to pass as McAngus looking over the middle, fires, and it's caught somehow by Palmer, and he really paid the price for it as Darian Royal stuck him at the 47-yard line. Eddie Morgan also there. Morgan might have been the one who popped him. It was he or Darian Royal, and I think Morgan's kind of shook up a little bit as he's kind of dragging his shoulder for a second, but he's okay. He's still walking back to his secondary safety position. Paul Wynn comes off the field as Brett Anderson will check in again at nose guard. 3 receivers near side. McGangus throws out near side, has his man caught, trying to make a move at the 50 and rolls out of bounds at the 47-yard line, and on the catch is Jacob Withers. Not much doing there, maybe a gain of 3.
But importantly for Northwest, he got out of bounds, but you got a ways to go.
5:34 on the clock here at the brand new Northwest ISD Stadium. Again, if you want to contact us and shoot us an email at mckinney.booth@klake.com, K-L-A-K-E. 2 receivers near side. This is a handoff. Ashley who fumbles once again, and the ball is on the turf, but this time Northwest is able to pick it up as one of his linemen right there, and I believe that was Justin Smith, the senior, one of the few seniors on this offensive starting list. As a matter of fact, 6 seniors start on offense, 4 juniors and 1 sophomore. And on defense for the Northwest Texans, they only start 4 seniors, 6 juniors and 1 sophomore. 2 receivers either side. Leonard McGangus, shotgun, drops back 2 steps, rolls up, thinks about throwing, now does, has a man caught. That's Maxwell, who buries his way across the first down marker, out of bounds at the 36-yard line. Now they'll say 35. It'll be a first down with 4:52 left to go here in the fourth quarter. McKinney on top, 28-3.
4th catch on the night for Maxwell, his 27th carry, but I want to go back to the play earlier. Drew Ashley's 25th carry. He's only got 90 yards, a 3.6 per carry average.
Well, this will be 3 receivers to the near side. Leonard McGangus, I say Leonard, Will McGangus actually fires it out to the near side, trying to find Maxwell again. Leonard McGangus, the head coach for Northwest Texans, looks like he's going to fall to 12-22 here at Northwest, and will fall to 49-49. Actually be a 500 coach as a head coach in Texas high school football.
Well, just ask McKinney North about how hard it is to find success when you establish a program, relatively, or not too long ago, rather.
2nd down and 10. McGangus, 2-step drop, happy feet, now rolls up the middle, and he is sacked in the backfield. And a nice play there. Kyle Hagelin into the football game, along with a couple of others. Alex Mann was right there to make the stop as well. And with 4:28 and rolling, and the ball at the 39-yard line of McKinney, we'll see what Leonard, and I keep saying Leonard McGangus, his dad, but Will McGangus, see what he can do with his troops here on 3rd down and about 14. Drops 2 steps back, throws it over the middle, home run ball, trying to find somebody over across, and it's picked off once again by one of the McKinney Lions, and that's Cates Keith. And he crosses the 20 out to the 22-yard line as Cates Keith picks it off, and that's the 3rd interception tonight for McKinney.
That should just about do it, I would think. At this point, I don't know if the Texans have much interest in calling timeouts if McKinney is just going to try to run the ball. They may play like, you got a 2-minute drill going here, and it would benefit them to do so. I mean, I wouldn't be upset if they were doing that. But this is a situation in which McKinney's just been dominant on defense.
Will McGangus now has 6 interceptions on the year.
3rd tonight.
To 1 touchdown.
That's not a good ratio, but most of the time they've depended on Drew Ashley.
And I believe someone jumped off sides for Justin Northwest. We'll see if he was drawn off sides by McKinney. We'll check the flag here. 3:59 left to go in this football game. 28-3, McKinney on top. It was a tight football game until about 4 minutes ago. And that's when Chris Wimbish ripped off 45 yards and a touchdown. And the next possession, when Justin Northwest took the ball, they immediately threw it to Ryan Packard, who went the rest of the route into the end zone. And that brought us to our new score, 28-3. And Northwest jumps off sides there.
Let's analyze what the McKinney North defense has done real quick. 3 goal line stands that resulted in only 3 points, 3 interceptions, 1 return for a touchdown, a fumble recovery on defense, 1 on special teams, and then 2 sacks.
Stop in action here. Timeout on the field. We'll take one, too. Back in a moment on 97.5 K-Lake FM. Welcome back to Northwest ISD Stadium. Monty Walker along with Brandon Helms. And on 1st and 5, after the penalty, McKinney runs it up the middle and gains a couple of yards there. It'll be 2nd down and about 2.
Looked like Zane Alcorn bobbled the snap. It looked like it was going to go to Wimbish behind him. He just picks it up and tucks it for 3 yards. Actually, Martinek in the game? Yeah, sure enough.
As Ben Martinek will come into the game. It's 2nd down and 2 here. 3:25 left to go and rolling, and McKinney trying to just juice this clock a little bit.
Well, that would explain the bobbled snap if Martinek's in.
28-3.
Well, he's fresh, not into the game, not in a game-time rhythm.
This will be a handoff, and I believe that's Calvin Maxwell who gets the carry across the 30 to the 33-yard line. Now some extracurricular activity going down on the field as the flag pops up really high, and every time you see that flag thrown towards the sky, you know it's a personal foul, as somebody was saying something bad about somebody's mother. And with 3:05 left to go, we'll see what happened here on the field. We'll see who was charged with this penalty. Somebody goes out for McKinney as we have some backup players into the game now. Justin Scroggins comes out.
It's a smart move by Coach McVay, getting his non-regulars in, and the penalties against McKinney. Interesting.
Jordan Burnett, one of the Lions, into the game. Calvin Maxwell, as we mentioned. Ross Skinner is at the wideout position.
Personal foul on McKinney. You wouldn't think that given the score and given the fact that the non-starters are in who aren't into game time heat just yet. But
some of the starters are still in. I see Michael Conley down there and Chris Holler, some of the offensive linemen, but the so-called skill position people are out of the game as Martinek, the quarterback, will come in, and it'll be 3rd down and 16. Martinek's going to toss left side. Calvin Maxwell trying to find a hole and has a little bit of one as he crosses the 22-yard line. But it's getting kind of sloppy down there now.
Timeout Northwest.
Let's keep it right here. Brandon, let's talk about the overall, what this means to McKinney and their football team, because coming in 0-3, they really were hanging their heads a little bit after that last loss against Newman Smith. And I tell you, getting beat 23-9, and not just the way.
Remember, they had a 2-point conversion on a blocked extra point there, so they only scored once.
And it was
I believe that was on defense too, if I recall.
And it was the way they got beat as well.
I mean, they were dominated both defensively and offensively.
Offensively, they weren't able to do much of anything the entire game. They come out tonight and kind of scratch their heads. They had a week off. It was probably a well-timed week off. They reevaluated their entire situation with, Todd McVay said it started at the top. He reevaluated his situation and what things that he needed to do. And apparently one of those things was to go back to the I formation, because they did that in the very first play. Very first rattle out of the box, Chris Wimbish scores 65 yards.
Basically have stuck with it ever since. I mean, they've gone to the spread very limited in this game.
4th down and 11, 2:35 left to go. Punt formation for McKinney, and they're not going to fake this one, but they do fake the fake, and Martinek will get it away. It's going to be taken at the 39-yard line, caught there by Zach Palmer. Palmer has returned one 45 yards this year for a touchdown. Doesn't get a chance there as he just brings it in.
Had 3 white shirts in his face, and the best thing to do right now is just fair catch, and he did. But going back to what you're talking about how big this game is, I don't mean to pat myself on the back here, but that 0-3 meant nothing because it was non-district. And where it matters, they came out fired up, and they're now 1-0 and undefeated in district play where it matters. Not that Northwest was going to be a powerhouse in this district, but it's good to get that first one out of the way.
Well, Northwest, some people thought that they would definitely make some noise in this district, and they may still very well do that. They are a very good football team. It's just things haven't worked out for them tonight. Fumbles, interceptions, they just weren't out of they were out of their element, I guess.
Well, I got a question for you after this play.
2 receivers either side. McGangus stands there and fires it out to his receiver, and it's caught by Arsenio Phillips. 1st down out to the 46-yard line. What's your question?
Well, if you look at this offensive performance, now add 14 yards onto this play here. McGangus 171 passing yards, Ashley 90 rushing yards, McGangus with 12, and Blake Collier with 42, so they're about 150 rushing and passing. How did they only score 3? I mean, this is a good offense.
They have fumbled the ball, and they have turned it over on interception as Ashley gets the handoff, running, crosses the 40, is popped at the 38-yard line, and is tackled by about 5 or 6 McKinney Lions. Michael Peters now playing defense, and for the first time we get to see Mr. Bill Bates on defense. Reed Akins comes up from his safety spot. We called him Bill Bates last year because he came in a game, again, I think it was Frisco Centennial, and just made some unbelievable pops, and I think he made one right there. Here's Merritt on the move, and he throws and overshoots Palmer. Actually, Palmer could have had that ball, went right through his hands. Now, the quarterback, Merritt, the backup quarterback, some may say, why is he a backup? He's 6'4", 195 pounds.
And he's an upperclassman compared to the starter.
He's a senior, and I tell you what, you just saw right there, he has a rocket of an arm. And sometimes, maybe, I'm not saying anything here, but sometimes when the head coach's son is the quarterback, maybe that's just not the place to be. Merritt will call for it. He will hand off Ashley up the middle, and Ashley has a lot of running room. He crosses the 25, 20, 15, 10 and wrestled out of bounds inside the 5 to the 3-yard line. And Drew Ashley, within a minute and a half now, is setting up Justin Northwest for their first touchdown of the night.
33-yard gain puts Drew Ashley over 100 yards now. He had 98, so he's now at 131. And so that'll help up his average, but the McKinney defense just shut him down. That's his 27th carry. The previous 26 failed to get 100, so they did a fantastic job.
And Merritt sends 2 receivers to either side, shotgun formation. He will get it. He will hand off Ashley, running right side. Slips a couple of tacklers, goes into the end zone. Too little, too late. Justin Northwest goes into the end zone. 28-9 make it.
Boy, if they whistle that bell after every touchdown, I'm glad they've been shut out to this point. That would have been annoying.
And on for the PAT will be Stephen McMullen, and he will try to make it an 18-point game with 1:23 left to go. And Drew Ashley scores. How long was that touchdown there?
And measly 4 yards, but really set up by the 33 run before it. So Ashley's still something that's encouraging. Right now, this Northwest offense, and really this team just not stopping, not quitting.
The snap is back. It's good. The kick is up, and it is good. 28-10. McKinney Lions lead Justin Northwest with 1:23 left to go. Back in a moment on 97.5 K-Lake FM. Welcome back to Northwest ISD Stadium. Monty Walker and Brandon Helms, along with Teddy Sappho on the sidelines. And Teddy will be talking momentarily with an elated Todd McVeigh, I'm sure.
I bet Teddy's jumping up and down on the sideline along with the team and cheerleaders.
There's a onside kick by Justin Northwest, and it's going to be taken by McKinney. Casey Cooley's there, but I believe the man who recovered it was Chris Ilmer, and he did. And McKinney will take over with 48 seconds, with 1:23 on the clock. They will be at the 49-yard line in their own territory, and they're just going to try to kill this clock.
Well, not a good onside kick from Northwest there, as McKinney was expecting it, and there's just a bit too much heat on that. And that was just an easy play for Zilmer.
Well, at their own 49-yard line, we'll see if we'll see who they send in at quarterback here, and it will be Martinek, as they are running that power I, but I don't see how much we'll see. Well, there's Calvin Maxwell, gets the handoff, and he's going to fight his way for 5 yards, crosses the midfield stripe down to the 46-yard line. In 1:11, and that's the important part, as the Lions have an 18-point lead, 28-10. It was a tight football game until about halfway through the fourth quarter, when Chris Wimbish blew the doors off with a 45-yard touchdown run, followed up by a Ryan Packard interception, and he went to the house from about 35, I believe. Inside a minute now, 43 seconds on the clock. 4 on the play clock. They snap it here. Calvin Maxwell is busted as soon as he gets the handoff at the 48-yard line. And that may, well, they stopped the clock momentarily. There's a timeout on the field. We'll keep it right here.
Why would they do that? It's going to be third down. And is that not, I
31
that was their last timeout, but I guess they've got one left.
Well, 31
Makes sense.
seconds.
Well, if they get a stop here, they don't convert the first down, you take a timeout, then you punt, then you've got another chance on offense to, get some momentum. I can understand that. I thought that was their last timeout. So let me retract that statement.
Third down and 5 as they talk it over here. And Justin Northwest kind of licking their wounds a little bit. And McKinney I'm sure they're just ready to bust at the seams over there. And, a nice crowd made it over up 380 over to 35 over here. And I thought for a moment as we got here at first, it looked like a very bleak crowd.
Yeah, we were able to count it basically on two hands when the game started.
But as the game progressed and people started filing in here a little bit, it actually turned out to be a pretty nice crowd on the far sideline.
Well, and that's one thing fans don't take into account. The North Dallas-Fort Worth area is just so congested at rush hour time.
31 seconds left to go in the game. Martinek hands off Calvin Maxwell, big hole, and now it's closed shut, but he may have the first down there. And
Well, if he gets the first down, I think it's probably safe to say Calvin Maxwell's our player of the game.
And I believe that's going to be really close. Yeah, it will be a first down. 22 seconds left to go, and now all they got to do is just run a couple of plays, or maybe just run this
This
one.
could be it because there's 21 seconds, no play clock now, and they set the change, so
It
Northwest
shows
is going to let it go.
It shows that each team has a timeout
Well,
left.
Northwest does have one, but they were trying to stop him from getting the first down to call their last time.
Surely they won't use that final
No, they're letting it
timeout.
go. I mean, they know. They just wanted one offensive possession to go, and they didn't get it, so because they got the first down.
Well, that's not Highway 114. That's Justin Northwest horn over here, and not sure why they would be blowing that because they didn't win
they don't
tonight.
have a typical buzzer, I guess, so that's
Yeah.
what they use.
28-10. McKinney wins tonight, and I tell you what, Brandon, you got to be happy. McKinney Lions fans have to be happy. Came in 0-3. They were really licking their wounds for a little bit, talking about those losses to Fort Worth Western Hills, where they really shot themselves in the foot that game. Really should have won. However, Fort Worth Western Hills has gone on to be 3-0. I don't know if anybody's paid much attention to that.
I have.
Wiley also, that loss to Wiley, 22-14. Not that they should have beat Wiley, but played
That's one
really
touchdown.
well against Wiley, and they are a very good football team. Newman Smith, of course, last week was probably the low point where they couldn't do anything on offense.
And despite the fact of they're having that big losing streak, they are a 5A school, so you have to take that into account. Now, granted, McKinney did beat them last year, but not by a lot.
Yeah, 8-5 last year, and you know it's got to be. Those kids are just elated over there. They are jumping up and down, and they are celebrating this one, their first victory, and it's probably the most important victory because it is the first district victory.
Well, I don't know about first for the entire season, but to the first 4 games in, yeah, this is definitely the most important. Like I said, non-district means nothing. District is what it's all about. If you lose every non-district game, but you win every district game, it doesn't matter. That 0-3 start does not matter.
We're going to try to get Coach McVeigh mic'd up here in a moment. We'll as soon as we find out where Teddy is, we'll.
I'm watching right now. Coach is doing the alma mater thing with McKinney and his team. Teddy's just kind of hovering over there like the proper sideline eagle he should. But I want to go back to something prior to the game. I don't know how odds makers come up with who's the favorite and who's not. But obviously, Hebron in the district is an obvious favorite to beat Frisco Centennial. They were favored by 25. But the second biggest point difference in terms of favorites was Justin Northwest was favored by 15 over McKinney.
And obviously not.
Well, I mean, how can you compare, Granbury and Red Oak to what McKinney's done?
That's
true. You can't. I mean, their teams don't play each other. And it's hard to judge, well, this team played this team, and this one lost. So, how do you do that? It just goes to show you it's all a crapshoot.
And we were trying to find out a score for McKinney North and Lake Dallas. If you have that, you can pass it along to our studio, 903-465-3013 in the K-Lake studio. And they will try to have that. I'll try to have that for you. We're also going to have some more scores later on tonight on the Quick Check Extra Point Scoreboard Show. Joe Martin will host that from the Katy Depot and have as many scores in the area as we can possibly pass along.
Well, how fun would it be if McKinney North wins today against Lake Dallas and we go into the McKinney City Showdown with 2 undefeated district teams?
The Crosstown Showdown next week ought to be a blast. You're going to love that one. If you like high school football, you're going to love the Crosstown Showdown.
I just wish it was the last game of the year.
Yeah, the Battle of the Axe, Sherman-Denison, always the last game of the year. And, some say that hurts both schools because there's so much emotion riding in Week 10 that a lot of those teams, they've been knocked out. They've been better teams that should have gone on past the first round of the playoffs, but were knocked out because of that emotion.
Well, beat who you need to beat, and it doesn't matter. Your biggest rival should always be the last game, no matter what. No matter when the situation is, what it is. I don't know the certain scenario surrounding McKinney and McKinney North in this situation, but in September, Come on. At
Yeah.
least try for October if you're not going to give us the last name.
Well, the guys who schedule, it's up for renewal next year. We'll see what they do on the scheduling for next year. But McKinney North is going to be a great football game next week. McKinney wins tonight 28-10. Coach McVay still talking to his team down there. Teddy is
Well, let's give our players of the game while we wait here. I mean, I think it's going to be pretty simple for both sides. Obviously, offensively, you got to go with Wimbish. He had 2 touchdown runs that together are about 100 yards.
You know who I'm going to give it to other than Wimbish?
Maxwell? Calvin?
No, not Calvin Maxwell, although he played a fine
Hey, he got the most important last first down.
He played a fine minute 23. However, I'm going to give my MVP on offense to Brett Anderson, the fullback,
I'll buy that.
who opened so many lanes along with that offensive line in that I formation. And I want to say thanks to my inside guy back in McKinney who told me that, hey, don't be surprised if you see the power eye this week, and that's exactly what we saw. And on the very first play of the power eye, it was just like 2004. Chris Wimbish takes it to the house.
Well, it's like I told you, Northwest had no film of the power eye offense on McKinney. It's just a beautiful job by McVay there, I think.
The McKinney Lions are about to break from their winning circle, and we'll see if Teddy Sappho can track down Coach Todd McVay, and I believe he's going to pull him aside. And Teddy, if you can take it over, go ahead.
All right, hey, Coach, thanks for joining us. Well, Coach, how's it feel to be 1-0 in district finally?
Finally. That's what we were waiting on. No, I tell you what, the kids did a great job. This is the best thing right here. The kids did a great job, and I was very proud of them. We set a vision for ourselves last Monday about what we wanted to accomplish. We didn't care what anybody thought about us. We knew we could get it done, and I'm very proud of them.
Quick comment about your offense. Your offense was sharp tonight.
Well, we said we were working on our basics, and, that stuff's always been in our playbooks. We felt like it was a little bit more smash mouth, which our kids really love, and that's kind of our mentality, our weight room mentality. So kids executed it well, and that's what happens when you execute.
Your defense did a great job containing Drew Ashley. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, we told them we got to stop him. He's a heck of a running back. He's a lot like Chris, and, the kids did a great job all week of focusing in on knowing they had to stop him. He was the key to their offense, and I'm very proud of them.
Coach, it's always a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot, Teddy Sappho. Great job down there talking with Coach McVay. And it sounds like, Coach McVay right now, you look at him and he's got his kid, throwing his kid up and right at the 30-yard line, and big hugs and kisses for his family. And Coach McVay is having the time of his life right now on the 30-yard line, hugging and squeezing his child there. And got to be happy being 1-0 in district.
Well, and to paint the picture for radio listeners, when he said this is what it's all about, and he kind of faded off mic, he was picking up his kid. And, as a coach doing sidelines a couple of times last year, it's the coaches, when they get a big victory like this and their family's there, and, that's what it's all about to them. I mean, they're basically grown-up babysitters as they're a football team of high school kids watching them grow and mature along, and that's just stuff they thrive on. And like you said during a halftime show, or maybe it was during a timeout, about McVay being a family man, and his mom could listen to the broadcast and have no worries. I mean, that illustrates it right there.
Well, the 40-year-old Todd McVay, the former Schertz Clemens Buffalo quarterback, now goes 11-14 here in McKinney. And McKinney moves to 1-3 on the season, but more importantly, 1-0 in District 9 4A. We're going to try to wrap things up here in a moment. Back up here in the booth at Northwest ISD Stadium, we'll have stats from Brandon, and I will try to have some highlights rounded up for you back in a moment on 97.5 K-Lake FM.